Survival for all. I start by building a mecha and piloting a Gundam. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1. My system is Jarvis. Welcome to the Gods and Demons continent. This is a fair survival competition. Human countries will be used as the basic units for the survival competition. The Gods and Demons continent will randomly draw a contestant from each country. The contestants will be automatically bound to their country after entering the Gods and Demons continent. The resources obtained by the contestants in the exploration will be materialized in the real world with 100 times increase. The degree of damage to the contestants' castles will be materialized in the real world with 100 times increase. If the contestant's castle heart is broken, he will be declared dead, and his country will suffer 1,000 times the punishment. The country where the contestant died can send new contestants until the country perishes. The Gods and Demons continent will start the whole live broadcast, synchronized with the major live broadcast platforms of Blue Star, and all Blue Star people can follow the contestants of their respective countries through the live broadcast. The contestants will randomly obtain a castle and a military building to plunder resources and develop power. The contestants will lead the army as the lord of the castle and embark on the road of survival competition. Blue Star is not the end. The castle troops are being randomly selected. Tang Xiaofan opened his eyes. He found a dilapidated iron garage in front of him. The iron garage looked quite solid, with brick walls and iron cover on the top. But the garage was very messy, with parts everywhere, and there was something that looked like a machine tool, but the old and greasy appearance showed that this thing might not be usable at all. God and Demon continent, Lord, castle, troops, survival competition. These lines of words kept appearing in his mind, and Tang Xiaofan took a deep breath of fresh air. The sky here is grey and makes people feel very depressed. He had just graduated from Tsinghua University and Peking University, and had just received an offer from an aerospace technology company, but he did not expect to enter such a cruel world. At this time, the voice in his mind sounded again. Lord of the castle. From now on, you will get a 7-day novice protection period. During the protection period, your castle is invincible. After 7 days, the protection shield disappears, and you and your castle will face the first test. The initial beast tide will sweep across the territories of all castle lords in the endless continent. If the heart of the castle is destroyed by the beast tide, you will lose your life, and your country will also suffer 1,000 times the damage. Tang Xiaofan raised his head. He found that above his head, there was a faint glowing round shield, which completely covered him, and the castle in front of him. Novice protection shield, buff effect, invincible. 7 days, novice safety period. The safety period is over, the shield disappears, and the beast tide is coming. Tang Xiaofan suddenly felt a sense of urgency. First, I need to know what my castle troops are. The troops of each castle are unique, and cannot be changed. Soon, Tang Xiaofan found another house in the yard. A more simple iron house. Even the iron house that shakes when the breeze blows. This is too careless. Is my army very bad? Before he could finish blinking, 2 big men suddenly jumped out of the leaky iron house. Damn it. Tang Xiaofan almost raised his leg to kick. But the 2 big men, wearing coarse linen clothes, were sturdy and strong. They knelt on one knee with a plop, clasped their fists, and shouted in unison, "Greetings, Lord." Crazy. Tang Xiaofan found that there was a row of small words floating above the heads of the 2 strong men. Farmer 01, excellent physical strength, skills, mechanical maintenance, construction. Farmer 02, excellent physical strength, skills, mechanical maintenance, construction. Farmers can improve their skills through continuous labor and obtain corresponding titles. Are you kidding? My army is a farmer? Question mark? Just when Tang Xiaofan was sighing at his luck, the live broadcast of the Gods and Demons continent had been opened to the world. The live broadcast was divided into 223 live broadcast rooms according to each contestant. For a time, men, women, old and young began to rush in crazily. Want to find out? Oh, has it started yet? What the hell? Is this Dragon Country's castle? It looks really amazing. What the hell? Could this guy who looks so handsome be a contestant from Dragon Country? Are the two strong men next to him his soldiers? Under the expectant gaze of the crowd, everyone saw Tang Xiaofan, who was not just handsome! Exclamation mark. That's right, although Tang Xiaofan was still wearing casual clothes at this time. At the same time, they also saw his soldiers. The soldiers are actually farmers. Why do I feel that Dragon Country will bleed heavily in 7 days? Don't panic. Maybe these two farmers are peerless soldiers. At the same time, the international friends who poured into Dragon Country's live broadcast room started to make sarcastic remarks. Yoho? Peerless arms? The big brown bears of our ugly country are the peerless arms. Our ugly country is indeed the chosen one. Ha ha ha. What's a big brown bear? The arms of our Dongian country are two-headed giant snakes, the invincible god of war. Fuck. The two-headed giant snakes are arms that can evolve. In the future, they can evolve into the Yamato no Orochi. This luck is too good. Oh my god. I feel so sad for your Dragon Country. Compared with the Anubis beast of our miracle country, you are simply weak. For these international friends who speak sweet words, Dragon Country netizens naturally did not indulge them. So, a war without gunpowder exploded instantly in the Dragon Country's live broadcast room. At this moment, Tang Xiaofan ignored these chat messages, but was attracted by the voice in his mind. Sir, if you let Farmer 01 and Farmer 02 defend against the beast tied with bare hands, your chance of failure will be 100%. The voice is very real, but you can still tell that it is a machine-generated voice. Who is talking? Tang Xiaofan suddenly became alert. Now he has a novice to protect him. It would be too unfair if he died inexplicably. Sir, I'm your system. You can also call me an intelligent assistant. My name is Jarvis. Jarvis, are you Iron Man's intelligent AI? As a Otaku, Tang Xiaofan didn't expect that his system would be Jarvis. But the crisis is imminent, and Jarvis, an artificial intelligence, can't come out to help him fight, and can't solve his urgent needs at all. What can you do, Jarvis? Tang Xiaofan asked tentatively. If he can't survive the first wave of beasts, it will be useless, even if he can create the Infinity Gauntlet. Sir, your world is detected to be extremely dangerous. Jarvis will do his best to help you survive. The surrounding objects have been scanned. There are a total of 36 weapon manufacturing solutions available. The optimal solution has been given. Mark 1 Mecha. Chapter 2. Start by building the Mark 1 armor. Mark 1 Mecha. Iron Man's first mecha. If this killer can be made, then dealing with the first wave of beasts will be a piece of cake. It is recommended to make a substitute for the arc reactor, using the energy, or on the west side of the town center, to make an external energy pack. Then make exoskeleton armor to increase the mobility of the two farmers. In view of the current main function of defense and energy issues, it is recommended to give up the flying function and focus on defense and attack. Considering the material problem, cold weapons will be used as combat weapons. After the two Mark 1s are made, your castle defense success rate will increase to 99.98%. The probability of protecting the castle intact will increase to 96.57%. Jarvis made a series of improvements and then notified the required materials. Even the location was marked. They were all things in the yard. Tang Xiaofan suddenly understood that in his seemingly desperate situation, there were so many things around him that could be used. There is always a way out, but the premise is that you have to have a pair of wise eyes to find that way. Under the huge pressure of survival, Tang Xiaofan didn't want to waste time and ordered, "Nang Yi, go find these materials, including but not limited to wrenches, machine tools, iron plates, wires, coils, and so on. Nang go knock down a few pieces of energy ore over there." Tang Xiaofan, who knew nothing about cutting-edge technology and mechanical technology, began to command the two farmers to collect materials, preparing to build the Mark 1 with simple tools, and to build two at a time. Just as Tang Xiaofan and the two farmers were busy, the netizens in the live broadcast room were talking about it. Is this guy reliable? What is he busy with? It seems that he is going to build something, but the beast tide will come in 7 days. Is it too late to build it now? Alas, the whole world is watching our jokes now. I really don't know where Dragon Country should go. 5 hours later, 2 Mark 1 armors were finally built. Because Nangyi and Nanga's skills are mechanical maintenance, they almost took care of all the production work. First, they turned the castle into a workshop. The old machine tool can still work. Moreover, welding, wiring, electromechanics, lathe, fitter, welder, there is almost no technology they don't know. Lord, we both graduated from Langxiang. I guarantee you will be satisfied. With the efforts of the honest Nangyi and Nanga, Tang Xuan didn't even do it. With the cooperation of Jarvis, he successfully completed the command of the two. Then, the Mark 1 armor made by Tang Xiaofan has entered the testing stage. The extremely ugly armor. Tang Xiaofan dared to swear that this must not be the big guy he saw in the movie in his previous life. This thing now is full of the former Soviet style, a hideous and terrifying mechanical exoskeleton, which is full of messy wires, and driven by 2 energy stones hanging behind the buttocks. In one hand, there is a huge shield that is more than 1 person tall, and made of uneven iron plates. In one hand, he held a crude steel mace full of nails. Imagine 2 farmers wearing rough mechanical exoskeletons, and charging with this shield. Tang Xiaofan liked it very much. This was his favorite style, which he liked more than the future Iron Man armor. It didn't need any good looking appearance, but only needed to fully exert the mechanical violence to the extreme. If there was another big axe, it would be perfect. This was Tang Xiaofan's inner definition of mechanical armor. Very hard, very violent. Fuck, what did I see? This guy seems to be really capable. Wow, no way. Made 2 Gundams? This is an exoskeleton armor. I really didn't see that Tang Xiaofan really has something in his stomach. It seems to be tested. I wonder how capable it is. From the appearance, this set of armor is completely different from Tony Stark's Mark 1 armor. Unlike the armor that Stark hastily made in the cave, Tang Xiaofan's armor focuses on a sense of violence. The basis of the armor is 2 huge iron plates in the center of the town, which should have been a workbench. Tang Xiaofan used the iron plate as a basis, and asked Nangyi and Nanga to knock the iron plate into the shape of armor, and then installed all the parts of the armor on it. In addition, Tang Xiaofan also thickened the originally thin iron plate to an armor that could resist conventional rifle bullets, and the overall weight also reached a terrifying 1 ton. This directly led to the expected battery life of the energy ore battery of Jarvis, from 3 hours to 2 hours. But it was all worth it. After debugging the neural conduction device, Tang Xiaofan looked at the powerful Mark 1 armor in front of him, and his heart was very excited. At this moment, he had only one idea in his mind. What streamlined? The armor must be thick. It must be stupid, big, black and thick. If the battery life is not good, add batteries. If it really doesn't work, add 2. Jarvis, start the first test. After Tang Xiaofan said this, Nangyi and Nanga couldn't wait to put on the Mark 1 armor. Because the size of the armor was too large, it was better to say that 2 strong men got into it, rather than putting on the armor. Test begins. Neural conduction device is normal. All functions are normal. This time, the Mark 1 armor worn by Nangyi and Nanga seemed to fit perfectly. The armor can accurately respond to their every movement. When they raise their hands, the armor will also raise their hands synchronously. The movements are completely consistent, even down to each finger. Basic functions are all normal. Next, please go to the open area for advanced testing. Jarvis gave a suggestion. No. Tang Xiaofan shook his head and said to Nangyi and Nanga, who were a little excited, let's go straight into the actual combat. It's time to explore around the town and see if those blind monsters have come over. After that, Tang Xiaofan walked towards the elevator wearing the armor. Jarvis began to self-check the helmet of the Mark 1 armor. The helmet has been put on and is self-checking. The air circulation system is functioning normally. The built-in buffer device is functioning normally. When the self-check was completed, Tang Xiaofan and the two had already arrived at the gate of the yard. Outside the gate was an endless forest. Moreover, Tang Xiaofan had no intention of going on an adventure by himself. In Jarvis' database, there were no less than 100 sets of various Mark armors. Making any one set would be enough for self-defense. But not now. Now, I'd better stay at home honestly. Where are Nangyi and Nanga? Go clean up outside now. After Tang Xiaofan gave the order, Nang Yi and Nanga hit their shields with maces, and then walked out of the yard without hesitation. Every step of the nearly important armor would make a loud sound like a drum. It looks bulky, but its speed is actually not slow at all. Dong dong dong. It's moving now? Where are you going? Fuck. These two seem really powerful. Chapter 3. Walk out of the castle and kill the velociraptor. Watching the two farmers walk into the forest, Tang Xiaofan turned back to rest. He was a little tired after these few hours. At this time, Tang Xiaofan suddenly found a glowing exclamation mark in the lower right corner of his vision. What is this? He stretched out his hand and a row of things appeared in his vision. Personal information, friends information, world chat channel, trading channel, etc. These menus can be viewed. Tang Xiaofan took the lead in checking his personal information. Lord of the Castle, Tang Xiaofan, Strength, Level 0, Castle Level, Primary Castle, Castle Soldier, Farmer, Castle Building, Farmer Factory, Equipment, none, Soulstone, none, Magic Crystal, none, my strength is level 0. Compared with the native creatures of the God and Demon continent, Tang Xiaofan is now equivalent to being powerless. But this is nothing. He is the lord of the castle, equivalent to the ruler and emperor, and the soldiers under his command are his reliance. He continued to check his information panel. Soulstones and magic crystals are both 0. What are these two things used for? I just don't know how to get them. As soon as the voice fell, the reminder sounded in his mind. Kill wild monsters, magic beasts, enemy troops, etc. You can harvest soulstones. Capture the castle of the enemy forces, you can get a lot of soulstones. Kill powerful monsters, there is a chance to get magic crystals. Upgrading buildings requires soulstones and magic crystals. I see. Tang Xiaofan took a deep breath. This is obviously encouraging the lord of the castle to go out and kill wild monsters and enemy troops, and even encouraging the lords of the castle to fight each other, indirectly embarking on the road of survival of the winner. In this world, it is basically impossible to survive in humiliation. After all, the protection period for novices is only 7 days. After 7 days, the beast tide will attack. If you don't work hard to improve your strength, there is only one way to go. Tang Xiaofan looked at the town center that had been transformed into a workshop, and his heart was much more at ease. Then, he checked other menus. Friend information was empty. Hyperspace trading channel was also blank. On the contrary, the world chat channel is very popular. World chat channel, world announcement, castle lords from Blue Star, welcome to the God and Demon continent, and join the fair and just survival competition. Here, you will gain strength, power, and bring 100 times the reward or punishment to your country. God and Demon continent? What the hell is this place? Survival competition, the beast tide is coming. Damn, I don't want to die. Didn't you say it's fair and just? Why is my initial troop a cocoa pig? Is this going to be a roast suckling pig? I'm going crazy. Touch the dog head upstairs and show sympathy. Ha ha ha. My troop is a big brown bear, and each unit weighs 500 kilograms. I'm indeed the chosen one. What's a big brown bear? My troop is a two-headed giant snake, and its ultimate potential can become a Yamato no Orochi. Fuck. The two-headed giant snake is a mythical troop. This luck is too good. The two-headed giant snake of the big guy upstairs is definitely a top troop. Envy. Big guy, please protect me. Looking at the content of the chat channel, Tang Xiaofan glanced at the farmer who had disappeared from the forest. The farmer, maybe a little better than Coco Pig. Is it fair? Tang Xiaofan felt that it was fair. After all, the soldiers were random. There are more than 200 Blue Star Castle lords who entered the God and Demon continent. Some are unlucky, and some are lucky. At this time, a chat message attracted Tang Xiaofan's attention. Tell everyone a message. Don't leave the castle. The outside world is too dangerous. My 2 knights were bitten to death by several velociraptors just after they went out to collect wood, grass. My dwarf warrior was also trampled into a pancake by a tyrannosaurus. There is a big crab that has settled outside my place. It must be coveting my beauty. Crying blood reminder. Don't open the seal of the mine. There are man-eating ants in it. Don't go fishing. There are monsters in the water, and they swallowed my 2 cat slaves. I don't believe you can get such a cute soldier upstairs. It's so difficult in the wild, but I'm so hungry. Where do you get food from? Looking at these chat messages, Tang Xiaofan also became alert. It seems that everything in this game depends on himself. Not only does he have to defend against the beast tide, but he also has to prepare his own food and drink. He walked around the castle and found a small kitchen and a well, but there was no food. On the other side, 2 farmers wearing Mark 1 suits had just left the castle, and 3 several meter long velociraptors jumped out of the dense jungle in the distance and bit towards Nani and Nana. You can have an extra meal today! Exclamation mark. In an instant, a huge mace fell from the sky. It was very accurate and hit the top of the head of the 2 velociraptors. The 2 velociraptors didn't even scream, their heads were smashed into pieces. But in a few seconds, they stopped twitching and turned into 2 corpses. Killer level 2 velociraptor, soul power +5. Killer level 2 velociraptor, soul power +5. The last velociraptor widened its eyes and turned and ran. Stop, our dinner. The 2 farmers quickly caught up and pressed the several meter long velociraptor to the ground. Swinging their huge shield, they slapped it directly. One after another, they slapped the velociraptor to death. Killer level 2 velociraptor, soul power +8, soul stone +1. Tang Xiaofan sensed the 3 forces in his body and was a little confused. Is the Mark I armor really that powerful? It's worthy of being Iron Man. With the help of Jarvis, Tang Xiaofan has the confidence to gradually develop various black technologies. Just now in the World Chat channel, a castle lord cried that the militia was bitten to death by velociraptors as soon as they left the castle, highlighting the power of wild monsters such as velociraptors. However, facing Tang Xiaofan's 2 junior Iron Men, the 3 velociraptors did not even last a round and were killed. The farmer equipped with Mark 1 armor immediately turned from a coward to an extraordinary superhero. When the last velociraptor died, it dropped a soul stone. In addition to the soul stone, Tang Xiaofan also gained soul power while killing the 3 velociraptors. +5, +5, +8 is a total of 18 points. These soul powers are flowing in his body. This illustrates a problem. Even if he did not do it himself, as long as his troops killed the enemy, as the lord of the castle, he can also enjoy the benefits and improve his own strength and level. This is the gospel of the lord of the castle. Chapter 4, Making Weapons of Mass Destruction and Food Trading. Jarvis, what else can you do besides making your own weapons? Tang Xiaofan asked curiously while mixing the fertilizer bomb. Sir, my database contains all the weapons production data of Stark Industries, the arc-reactor drawings, the manufacturing drawings of all the Mark armors, the Sky Carrier design drawings, the Super Soldier Serum formula, the improvement plan of the Extremis virus. Jarvis started to talk non-stop, and Tang Xiaofan had already stopped the work at hand, and his face gradually showed excitement. He realized, with the help of Jarvis, he could build his own Iron Man core in the land of gods and demons. It is no exaggeration to say that the technical level in Jarvis' database is at least more than 100 years ahead of the Earth. Some are even more than a few hundred years. You know, there are nearly 100 types of Iron Man's Mark series armor alone. From the most primitive Mark 1 to the Mark 85 that appeared in Avengers 4, there is everything. Even some armor in the comics is no exception. Obviously, at this moment, System Jarvis has far surpassed the artificial intelligence in the movie. With such a system, thinking about being able to sit in the castle and command the Iron Man army in the future, Tang Xiaofan couldn't help but sigh that there were indeed crises. But he didn't get carried away by this. He knew very well that these things were just a pile of information now. Only by surviving could he turn these technologies into his own strength. Otherwise, everything would be empty talk. Jarvis, let's continue. Okay, sir. Tang Xiaofan took a deep breath and continued to make fertilizer bombs. Considering the first wave of beasts in a few days, according to the materials that can be collected in the castle at present, fertilizer bombs and Molotov cocktails became the best choice. The 2 weapons were assembled quickly, and the fertilizer bombs and Molotov cocktails were manufactured one after another. At this time, dang dang dang. Lord, Nani walked into the castle with heavy steps, dragging the Velociraptor corpse that was more than 10 meters long. He handed the fallen soulstone and the Velociraptor corpse to Tang Xiaofan. The soulstone is a white crystal with a diameter of about 2 centimeters, and there is nothing strange about it. But the Velociraptor corpse. When Tang Xiaofan looked at the Velociraptor corpse, an option popped up in his vision. Found a monster corpse. Do you want to collect it? Yes. No. Collect. Collect successfully. Obtained 10 units of dinosaur meat. Obtained a complete dinosaur skin. Obtained 3 sharp dinosaur teeth. Looking at the Velociraptor corpse on the ground, it has disappeared. And next to it, there are piles of collected dinosaur meat, dinosaur skin, and 3 dinosaur teeth. This is much more convenient. Tang Xiaofan collected the spoils. Dinosaur meat is obviously food. It doesn't matter whether it tastes good or not. What matters is that it can fill your stomach. Tang Xiaofan looked at the 2 farmers and asked, when you killed the Velociraptor, did you get a boost in strength? Yes, my lord. Farmer 1 answered first. I can feel that there is energy drilling into my body. As long as I purify 20 more evil dinosaur beasts, I can be promoted. Farmer 2 on the side also nodded. Killing the enemy is a shortcut to quickly upgrade the level of a soldier. However, relying on the farmer's own practice and growth, how many years will it take for Nani and Nana to become a dragon-like existence? It still depends on the collective strength. Of course, there is also black technology. Unfortunately, Tang Xiaofan's castle is now poor and needs to collect resources to complete the original accumulation. That's good. Tang Xiaofan said, continue to hunt monsters in the wild, and bring the monsters' bodies, and dropped items back to the castle. Yes, lord. The 2 farmers saluted respectfully. Then he turned around, and drove the heavy Mark 1 out of the castle. In the Dragon Country Live broadcast room, the discussion started again. Fuck. The mecha is so powerful. Is my Dragon Country going to take off? No. These 2 Gundams don't look like they can fly, but their attacks and defenses are outrageous. Maybe it's because they only encounter small monsters, so it looks easy? Fuck. Upstairs in the underworld, Tang Xiaofan is already very good. Come on. The plug-in ores behind the 2 Iron Men did not change at all, and it seems that they can hold on for a long time. They soon entered the forest. After a while, Tang Xiaofan received a kill prompt. Continuously, a lot of energy points were added to Tang Xiaofan's body, improving his strength. Occasionally, there would be a message prompt about the drop of soulstones. The harvest was very good. At the same time, this also showed that there were a lot of monsters in the wild. No wonder many castle lords complained in the world chat channel that the soldiers died as soon as they went out, and this broken game was unplayable. 2 farmers who went out hunting. From time to time, they would bring back a few monster corpses to the castle. The soulstones in Tang Xiaofan's hand were also slowly increasing. In his spare time, he cast his eyes on the dilapidated, workshop-like, but extremely important castle in front of him. Primary castle, unnamed, ordinary building, warehouse, special building, farmer factory, upgrade requirements. 2000 units of wood, 1000 units of stone, 100 units of iron ingots. Next level, intermediate castle, current status, invincible, current faction, none unnamed. Then name it Black Technology Castle. I want to let you know what black technology from hundreds of years later is. After renaming the castle, Tang Xuan saw another building right next to his iron workshop. It was also a half-brick iron house, but it was not big at the moment. Warehouse. Tang Xiaofan's mind moved. The meat, fur, and dinosaur teeth that he had just collected disappeared in an instant. All were stored in the warehouse. Such a convenient, magical, and powerful function. What is a camp? Is it order, chaos, neutrality, good, or evil? Tang Xiaofan was a little confused. Then, he opened the world chat channel again. The channel was as lively as ever. Although every castle lord should be busy with his own castle, collecting food, training soldiers, etc., there are many people who are panicking and dazed. After watching for a while, Tang Xiaofan suddenly found someone asking to buy food in the chat channel. And there are a lot of messages asking to buy food. 1 soulstone, for 10 units of food. 20 units of wood, 4 15 units of food. 10 units of stone. 4 5 units of food. Yes. The Gods and Demons continent is not a game on the internet. It's the real world. Everyone, if you don't eat, you will starve to death. Chapter 5. The host of the live show outside the venue is Yuki. These captured city lords and their soldiers all need to eat. In fact, the more powerful the soldiers, the more food they need. One of their own farmers needs 1 unit of food a day, and the initial soldier of the ugly country, the big brown bear, needs at least 10 units a day. Of course, 10 farmers with bare hands may not be able to beat a brown bear weighing more than 10 tons. However, it is hard to say whether the brown bear can eat enough by hunting on its own. On the other hand, the castle lords in the channel have a strong desire to buy, but the trading area is very deserted, and no one takes out food to exchange. The reason is very simple. Wild monsters are too difficult to kill. If you are not careful, your own soldiers will be lost. Once the summoned soldiers die, there will be even less food. Now is the first day of entering the God and Demon continent. The number of castle lord soldiers is too small, and it is difficult to kill monsters in the wild. This makes food precious. It seems like I can harvest some leeks. After the hard work of Nangi and Nanga, they collected the corpses of several wild monsters one after another. Soon, his warehouse was already full of food. Tang Xiaofan was alone, and couldn't finish eating in half a month. As for the farmer, he only consumed 1 unit of food. Thinking of this, he asked, Jarvis, give me a solution. I think I can exchange food for some supplies. Sir, according to my analysis of the information in the chat channel, I found that more than 100 people are looking for food, and more than 200 people are selling wood, stone, and iron ore. As for soul stones, there is no transaction information. Therefore, I suggest the following ratio for exchange. Tang Xiaofan immediately posted the transaction information in the next door transaction channel. 1 unit of food, exchange for 1 soul stone, 1 unit of food. 20 units of wood, 1 unit of food. 10 units of stone, 1 unit of food. 1 unit of iron ingot, current food. 50 units. As soon as the transaction information was released, the world chat channel exploded. Profiteer. In the chat channel, everyone angrily denounced Tang Xiaofan. Typical profiteer. In the world of Blue Star, the current God and Demon continent can be said to be extremely eye-catching. All people in the world are basically paying attention to the things about the God and Demon continent spontaneously. This is a huge amount of traffic. Since there is traffic, there is naturally no lack of interest exchanges. That's right, as soon as the God and Demon continent was opened, the toilet station temporarily set up a program, Today's God and Demon Continent, and specially arranged it to be broadcast in the prime time. Although the program was launched temporarily, the strong variety show production ability of the toilet station is not casually said. The host of the program is the popular cross-border sister Yuki. Even if it is a temporary dispatch, Yuki's popularity is beyond doubt. Once the news was announced, advertisers flocked to it and directly offered a sky-high main sponsorship fee. Because as the original pillar of the toilet station, Yuki was originally a very popular existence. With her as the host, this is a huge amount of traffic. Of course, this is a talk show. Yuki is not enough. Although no one knows much about the Gods and Demons continent, it took a lot of thought to invite relevant guests. First of all, the Gods and Demons continent tests the defense capabilities of the castle, so it is normal to invite a military expert. Professor Zhang, a military expert who is very popular on the internet, has been called the master by netizens for his many god-level predictions. Secondly, because the latest live broadcast shows that Lango's contestant Tang Xiaofan is taking the manual technology route, a manual technology expert, Master Zheng, was invited. Master Zheng became famous in the internet technology industry because of a brain jumper and is known as the Edison of Lango. The two of them, one literary and one martial, match each other, plus Yuki, the red flower embellishment. It is indeed a luxurious dupe. However, in addition to these 3 people who are extremely popular and have made achievements in their respective fields, the program team also brought in a controversial guy. He is also a current internet celebrity, Zhang Xiaoxiao. After seeing the lineup of the commentary program team of today's Gods and Demons continent this time, Netizens in Lango are also talking about it. Yuki, you are awesome. We will always support you. Commander, do you want to predict the final outcome of this god and demon continent? Master Zheng. With Master Zheng joining, the contestants from Dragon Country have hope. Oh my god. Zhang Xiaoxio? What does the program group mean? Sending such a thing to disgust us? On the internet, whether it is Yuki, Master Zheng or the commander, the voices are still relatively loud. After all, they all have strong strength. But for Zhang Xiaoxio, everyone looks down on him. The reason is simple, because Zhang Xiaoxio not only has no strength, but also is a bit annoying. But no matter how everyone discusses, the program has officially started. This time, today's God and Demon continent is naturally broadcast live. Combined with the live broadcast screen in the God and Demon continent, it is jointly explained by a host and 3 special guests. For a time, the popularity of the program is also rising. Seeing such a hot live broadcast room netizen, Yuki immediately started the topic. Hello everyone. I'm Yuki, and our show is on air today. Please watch today's Gods and Demons continent on the Toilet channel at 8 o'clock every night. Let's get back to the point. Everyone is very concerned about the situation of the contestant representing Lango. After all, according to the rules, his victory or defeat is closely related to us. So, may I ask, what do you think of this contestant from Lango? Yuki naturally knew that the internet at this time was skeptical about the identity of this contestant from Lango, although it was not to the point of directly scolding. But most netizens were not optimistic about it. And Yuki also spoke directly about this topic that everyone was extremely concerned about. Hearing Yuki's words, the bureau chief did not hesitate to express his own opinion. Now many people on the internet think that this contestant will not achieve anything in the continent of gods and demons, but in my opinion, that's not entirely true. Hearing what the bureau chief said, Yuki also spoke at the right time. Oh, I wonder what the bureau chief thinks? Taking over Yuki's words, the bureau chief continued, as far as judging people is concerned, I believe I'm still good at it. This contestant from our Dragon Country may look plain and mediocre, but in my opinion, he is by no means just an ordinary person. The bureau chief paused for a moment, and at this time, Master Zheng also interrupted the topic. What the bureau chief said is right, especially this Tang Xiaofan. In fact, what everyone doesn't know is that I have also seen what he made in the past 2 days. It is not simple at all, let alone the fertilizer bomb. It is already at a very professional level. Zhang Xiaoxio watched everyone discuss it, but he didn't have much screen time, so he quickly interrupted. Professional? Professional in what? Is your useless invention world going to have another useless inventor? Chapter 6, Recruiting Peasants and Building a Blacksmith Shop. After hearing Zhang Xiaoxio's words, both the director and Master Zheng glanced at him speechlessly, but ignored him. Yuki on the side, smiled and changed the subject. Haha, Master Zheng is right. According to the information we have found so far, Tang Xiaofan's IQ test score is as high as 190. He is indeed a real academic master. Yuki stretched out her index finger and waved it. She continued, so, everyone, don't worry too much. With Tang Xiaofan's IQ of 190, he must be able to handle things in the God and Demon continent with ease. And after graduating from Tsinghua University and Peking University, he has already received a top offer from NASA, the world's largest airline. After hearing Yuki's words, the netizens in the live broadcast room were also shocked. 190? Damn, academic god, studying is just a game to him. Master Zheng is indeed a man of insight, and he can see Tang Xiaofan's extraordinariness at once. That Zhang Xiaoxio got slapped in the face. Seeing the barrage in the live broadcast room, Yuki also became interested. However, Yuki couldn't find any information about this. However, just when she was about to ask Master Zheng her own question, the live broadcast from the God and Demon continent suddenly changed! Exclamation mark. That's right, Tang Xiaofan's previous transaction in the trading channel finally had a result. In a hurry, Yuki didn't care about anything else and hurriedly said, everyone, look. Tang Xiaofan's food seems to have been bought out. On the first day of everyone's arrival in the God and Demon continent, There are very few city lords who can take out 50 units of food at a time. Either they are noobs who don't understand the preciousness of food, or they are big guys who have too much food. After all, many castle lords have obtained very poor soldiers, and they don't even dare to go out of their own castles, let alone go out to collect food. And the amount of food collected is very small, which can only be used for their own consumption, and it is definitely not enough to exchange. Even if the castle lord dares to go out hunting, many of the soldiers under the city lord are not opponents of wild monsters. The most likely thing is to collect some wood, stone and other materials near the castle. These two are not dangerous, and it will not take too long to collect them in the early stage. Once wild monsters attack, they will immediately flee back to the castle. Therefore, under the deterrence of wild monsters, food is extremely precious. The castle lords who can kill wild monsters and obtain food must be a minority, and they are big bosses with powerful troops under their command. Such castle lords are worthy of admiration. But now, in the World Chat channel, many castle lords are denouncing Tang Xiaofan. They think he is a profiteer. While raising the market price, he exploits his fellow blue stars. The reason is very simple. The exchange price set by Tang Xiaofan is simply shocking, which has increased the market price of food by n times. The original market price is 1 unit of wood or 1 unit of stone, to exchange for 1 unit of food. When it comes to Tang Xiaofan, 1 unit of food requires 20 units of wood or 10 units of stone. What is this, if not a profiteer? However, in the face of the denunciation of many castle lords, Tang Xiaofan didn't care. At this stage, food is in short supply. If you don't buy, others will. There will always be people who will buy his food among hundreds of castle lords. Sure enough, it was just as Tang Xiaofan thought. Soon after his food was put on the trading channel, it was sold out. 50 units of food were all traded. Lose 1 unit of food, gain 20 units of wood, lose 1 unit of food, gain 10 units of stone, lose 1 unit of food, gain 20 units of wood, and other prompts. And those who originally cursed Tang Xiaofan as a profiteer in the chat channel revealed their true colors. 50 units of food, gone so quickly? Fuck. A bunch of animals. I hesitated for 2 seconds, and the food was replaced. Are you stupid? The one above. The lord of the castle has hundreds of people, let alone 50 units of food. Even 50,000 units can't satisfy the market. One more thing, big brother, do you have any more food? My Tyrannosaurus Rex looks so hungry. If you don't give them food, they will eat me. Big brother, can you give me 10 units of food? I'll let the flower country transfer 300 million to you. I'll give you 1 billion. This is a different world. Money is useless. On the contrary, my troop type is cat girls, which is very cute. Are you interested? Are you a brothel owner above? I'm curious, what is the troop type of big brother Tang Xiaofan, who can actually kill wild monsters? Where is your big brown bear in ugly country? 50 units of food were eventually exchanged for 600 units of wood and 300 units of stone, all of which were automatically stored in the castle's warehouse. The warehouse of the lord of the castle. It seems like an infinite space, which can store a large amount of supplies. It also has a preservation function. Food can be kept fresh for a long time when placed inside. Jarvis' voice appeared. Sir, according to the information collected, this transaction is all wood and stone. No one uses soul stones to exchange. No one uses iron ingots to exchange. It is likely that many people have not built a blacksmith shop or refined iron ingots. It is recommended to build a blacksmith shop and refine iron ingots by yourself. Soul stones can be used to upgrade military buildings and can only be obtained by killing wild monsters. Obviously, soul stones are more precious than resources such as wood and stone. Then I will build a blacksmith shop first and then exchange it a few times. Then, my castle can be upgraded. Tang Xiaofan said. But I can't just rely on existing resources. The technological route requires extremely high resources, and the blacksmith shop is a top priority. Of course, compared with military buildings and production buildings, castles are the top priority. The higher the level of the castle, the greater the defense value of the castle heart, and it is not easy to be destroyed. In the future, the castle can also be upgraded to a town, a city, a main city, or even a kingdom or an empire. It is the core business of the castle lord. Tang Xiaofan followed the Marvel technology route, which had a very high demand for iron, and also required special steel and electrical equipment. The blacksmith shop was also very important to him. Thinking of this, he walked to the iron house with leaks everywhere, and spent 20 units of food to exchange for 2 farmers. But the population limit was also reached. Fortunately, as the weakest type of soldiers, each farmer only occupied 1 population unit. Otherwise, he would have to build more farmhouses to recruit more farmers. Lord, looking at the 2 burly men kneeling on one knee, Tang Xiaofan nodded with satisfaction. The small words floating above their heads showed, Farmer 03, excellent physical strength, skills, mechanical maintenance, construction. Farmer 04, excellent physical strength, skills, mechanical maintenance, construction. At this time, the materials in the warehouse have met the needs of the blacksmith shop. Build a blacksmith shop. Chapter 7. Damn, the dragons must have cheated. Consume 100 pieces of wood, 100 pieces of stone, and 10 pieces of iron ore to build a first level blacksmith shop. Please select the number of farmers. The moment the system prompt appeared, a virtual frame appeared in front of Tang Xiaofan, and his vision moved. Similar to the building structure diagram, you can vaguely see doors, windows, chimneys, iron furnaces, etc. The house is not too big, equivalent to 3 large brick houses, covering an area of about 100 square meters. After Tang Xiaofan clicked to confirm, he arranged 2 strong men to start building. Leveling the ground, laying the foundation, drawing lines, and building walls. Unlike reality, the materials and tools are all provided by the system. Tang Xiaofan took a closer look and found that the tamping stone was made of stone piers, but there were more than a dozen wooden stakes. When can it be built? My lord, there is still an hour. Tang Xiaofan pouted, ready to wait until the resources accumulate to a certain level before building houses and recruiting more farmers. By then, dozens of farmers will rush to build a house like a blacksmith shop, and it will be built in a moment. He took the opportunity to look at the functions of the blacksmith shop, including smelting, forging, casting and repair. The blacksmith shop is indeed very powerful, but it requires farmers to upgrade their mechanical maintenance skills to the maximum level and transfer to blacksmiths before they can use it. Fortunately, Nang Yi and Nanga have been busy making Mark 1 mechas during this period, and the 2 of them have met the conditions. First, transfer the 2 of them and activate the functions of the blacksmith shop. Then recruit more farmers and make more Mark 1 armors. In this way, another batch of farmers with full maintenance skills can be promoted to blacksmiths. A blacksmith shop can accommodate 15 blacksmiths. At that time, in addition to making weapons, they can also conduct technical research and develop new smelting, forging, and casting technologies to prepare for subsequent Mark mechas. As for the repair function, remove the battery of the damaged mecha, transport it in, consume a certain amount of iron ore, and then transport it out after an hour or so, and it will be as good as new. It's incredible. This made Tang Xiaofan very excited, and he had the urge to recruit 100,000 farmers to build a skyscraper. An hour later, the blacksmith shop was finally built. Ding. The blacksmith shop is completed. Tang Xiaofan was very satisfied to see that the iron smelting furnace, forging, and casting tools were all complete. However, iron ingots cannot be made now because there is no iron ore. So, it is recommended to build farmhouses first and expand the population unit. Recruit more farmers to collect and produce so that the efficiency is the highest. Tang Xiaofan nodded, so he did not rush to send farmers out to collect iron ore, but asked farmers 3 and 4 to continue building farmhouses. Consume 100 pieces of wood and 100 pieces of stone to build a first level farmhouse. Please choose the number of farmers. Leveling the ground, laying the foundation, drawing lines, and building walls. This time the speed is much faster. It seems that the difficulty of the farmhouse is not too high. Ding. The first level farmhouse is completed. The newly built system farmhouse is a large 3-room house. The room is spacious and bright. There are 2 layers of large bunk beds, which can accommodate 30 people. This is good. A full 30 population units! Exclamation mark. You can recruit more farmers. Suddenly, a golden light flashed, and after the golden light dissipated, Tang Xiaofan immediately checked his personal information. Sure enough, he upgraded from level 0 to level 1. Although he is still at the bottom of the God and Demon continent, at least he is no longer powerless. There are already a lot of wild monster corpses in the castle yard, more than a dozen. Tang Xiaofan commanded Farmer 3 and Farmer 4 to collect them one by one. A total of 200 units of food and more than a dozen complete furs were obtained, and monster materials of varying quantities. For example, wolf teeth, snake scales, rabbit heads and the like. Tang Xiaofan didn't know what these monster materials were used for, so he didn't care about it for now, and stored them all. The soul stones have also accumulated to 10. The distance from the upgrade requirement of 100 soul stones for the farmer's factory is considered to have been completed by 1/10. Compared with the castle and the blacksmith shop, it seems that the upgrade of the military buildings is more difficult. Because soul stones cannot be obtained through collection for the time being, at least they can only be obtained by killing wild monsters. However, the resources such as wood, stone, and iron ore for upgrading the castle can be found everywhere. So, harvest another 200 units of food. It is suggested that all of them be replaced by farmers, expand the scale of production, and prepare for the formation of a Mark 1 combat squad! Exclamation mark. Tang Xiaofan believed that according to Jarvis's computing ability, the solution given must be the best. Of course, he came to the farmer factory without any doubt, spent 200 units of food, and summoned 20 farmers. Looking at the 20 sturdy men kneeling down to him and calling him Lord, Tang Xiaofan suddenly felt like he was in a gathering hall. Next, there is strength in numbers, so naturally he started to collect iron ore. Because there were farmers 1 and 2 cleaning around the castle, all the monsters, whether friendly or vicious, were cleared out, so it was very safe. Tang Xiaofan waved his hand, and farmers 3 and 4 brought a group of younger brothers to start collecting ore. Although farmers are the lowest level soldiers, they are very skilled at work, and soon the ore in the blacksmith shop began to increase. In the live broadcast room, watching Tang Xiaofan's operation, it caused a lot of controversy. Zhang Xiaoxio looked proud and said to Yuki and other guests with a smile, "Look, what did I say? Although this person has a high IQ, he has no overall view." He completely ignored the strange looks from everyone and said solemnly, "I suggest that Tang Xiaofan be replaced. His actions are a complete waste of resources. It is even misleading the country and the people. Too shameless. This is simply too shameless. Let's not talk about whether the player can be replaced. Even if Tang Xiaofan did not continue to exchange resources to upgrade the castle, but chose to recruit farmers, it would not be said that he had no overall view, or even misled the country and the people, right?" As the host, Yuki hurriedly said, "Commander, is there a problem with Tang Xiaofan's choice?" The commander habitually pondered for a moment, smiled and shook his head and said, "I don't think there is a problem, and the advantage may gradually increase." Looking at Zhang Xiaoxio's face, the commander said, "I predict that Tang Xiaofan has great ambitions, and he may even want to upgrade the castle before the protection period expires. In this way, he can have enough farmers to work." Master Jing also nodded and said, "Everyone who has worked knows that this is called strength in numbers." With Tang Xiaofan's outstanding performance, the Dragon Country live broadcast room was crowded, not to mention that today's Gods and Demons continent program added fuel to the fire. Many foreign audiences joined in. They did not come to admire Dragon Country, but to disrupt the mentality of Dragon Country players. Why can Dragon Country players have so much food? Recruit so many types of soldiers? Yes, my miracle country now has only one Anubis beast. I suspect that Dragon Country habitually uses something called plugin. Yes, Dragon Country players cheated. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8 Black Technology Honeycomb Refining and Making Batteries. Bullshit. You are the one who cheated. You are too lenient above me. These are foreigners. Their brain cores are only the size of budgers. Of course, they can't understand Tang Xiaofan's actions. That's right. That Zhang Xiaoxio has a very small brain core. No wonder he is called Zhang Xiaoxio. During the live broadcast of the program Today's Gods and Demons Continent, it was directly presented on the chat barrage of netizens. Yuki, the chief, and Master Zheng saw that the netizens aimed their firepower at Zhang Xiaoxio, and they couldn't help but feel happy. Zhang Xiaoxio's face turned pale and red, but fortunately Tang Xiaofan in the live broadcast saved him again. Jarvis. Looking at the pile of ore that was about to be full, Tang Xiaofan suddenly had a bold idea. In the Iron Man movie, Tony was kidnapped into a cave. Under the heavy surveillance of the enemy, he only used a pile of scrap copper and iron to build the first generation Mark 1 armor, and his micro reactor was also built in the cave. Do you think I can build a micro reactor here? Tang Xiaofan asked Jarvis. Sir, the necessary element for making a reactor are missing. Hearing Jarvis' answer, Tang Xiaofan was not surprised. Although he had the drawings of the series Mark armor, the biggest problem was still the arc reactor. The element needed to make a reactor are not everywhere. Tony also tricked a bunch of missiles in the cave under the name of making Jericho missiles, and extracted these necessary element from the missiles. Can we replace the reactor with something else? Sorry, sir, the consumption of the Iron Man suit is huge. Even the first generation model is no exception. The arc reactor is the most perfect source of power. Can we switch to battery drive? After all, the energy ore here seems to be very powerful. Tang Xiaofan made a hypothesis. Calculating. The progress of energy ore analysis is 5%. The ore battery solution is feasible. Abandoning the flight function, the energy consumption of the suit will be greatly reduced, but ordinary batteries still cannot maintain the action of the suit. It is recommended to make a high energy ore battery. Soon, Jarvis presented the method of the plan to Tang Xiaofan. High energy battery? Huh. Tang Xiaofan reacted. According to the current analysis progress, these ores can be extracted by honeycomb refining to obtain high energy battery materials. Honeycomb refining? Tang Xiaofan nodded with satisfaction, thinking it was another black technology. When Jarvis gave him the specific method, as expected, Tang Xiaofan saw the specific information of the honeycomb refining method, which was another black technology in the Marvel world. Compared with the traditional refining method, the honeycomb refining method does not require complicated equipment. This is similar to the mechanical stripping method, but the efficiency is many times higher. Jarvis, show the other materials for high energy batteries that can be collected in the castle. After reading the refining method, Tang Xiaofan said in a deep voice. No problem, sir. Jarvis finished speaking. All the materials for making high energy batteries were displayed in front of Tang Xiaofan. Most of them were very common materials, and a few materials needed to be refined. Jarvis also gave the corresponding processing methods. Very good. Collect the materials today and start making them right away. After memorizing all the materials, Tang Xiaofan called the two farmers who were transporting iron ore. Nangsan. Nangxi. My lord. He handed the list of materials to two people and then told them to collect the materials. The two people moved quickly. In a short time, they had already gathered all the materials for making high energy batteries and moved them to the simple workbench in the castle. It's called a workbench, but it's actually a billiard table with the edges removed. Let's get started, Jarvis. After Tang Xiaofan finished speaking, a virtual figure immediately appeared in front of him and began to show the production process of high energy batteries. The whole process was very detailed, and you just had to follow the figure. No wonder it's called the honeycomb refining method. During the refining process, Tang Xiaofan saw the honeycomb-shaped fragments on the surface of the energy ore, and then he understood the origin of the name of this method. After several hours of refining, in the end, what was placed in front of Tang Xiaofan was more than a dozen grams of black powder. I finally got one thing done. Tang Xiaofan wiped the sweat from his forehead and carefully collected the more than 10 grams of powder. After collecting it, he looked at the time, and it was already noon. Nangsan Nangsi, you follow my instructions just now, and do the same. With the energy powder, Tang Xiaofan only took less than 2 hours to prepare the remaining materials for making batteries. Start making. Tang Xiaofan continued to follow the steps of the virtual figure and began to make high energy batteries. The production process is not very complicated. As long as you follow the steps, there will be no problem. The only difficulty is precision. Not only must you look carefully, but your hands must be steady. Otherwise the battery you make will have safety hazards. Tang Xiaofan took a deep breath and focused his attention to the extreme. After more than an hour of concentrated production, a high-energy battery the size of a brick appeared in front of Tang Xiaofan. It was black all over, with 4 metal contacts at each end. The weight was more than twice that of a lithium battery of the same volume, and it felt heavy in the hand. "Jarvis, are you sure one is enough?" Tang Xiaofan asked, while holding the blackboard brick. The capacity of high-energy batteries is more than 2000 times that of lithium batteries, which is enough for the armor to move for more than 3 hours. Jarvis finished speaking and added, "Sir, your materials are only enough to make one high-energy battery. It is recommended that you start the blacksmith shop as soon as possible to produce the accessories needed for the battery." "Okay." Tang Xiaofan nodded and put the battery back on the table. At this time, Nang Yi and Nang Er, who went out hunting, have returned. The animals they hunted have become 500 units of food. At the same time, the farmers who collected or also put down their work and waited for Tang Xiaofan to rearrange everyone's work. "Nang Yi, Nang Er, change your job to blacksmith." As his voice fell, the 2 sturdy farmers punched their chests and shouted, "Yes, Lord." 2 golden lights flashed, and the small words on the heads of Nang Yi and Nang Er changed. They also changed from being shirtless to blacksmiths wearing leather aprons and holding hammers in their hands. Farmer 01, excellent physical strength, skills, mechanical maintenance, blacksmith. Farmer 02, excellent physical strength, skills, mechanical maintenance, blacksmith. Then the 2 picked up the hammers and plunged into the newly repaired blacksmith shop and started to work with clanging sounds. Not long after, the pieces of iron ore became less and less, and iron ingots appeared at the door of the blacksmith shop. "Very good." Tang Xiaofan nodded with satisfaction. Although these farmers are elementary soldiers, they are really good at work. At this time, Jarvis made another suggestion. "Sir, based on the current situation, it is recommended that the remaining farmers build Mark 1 steel mechas." Chapter 9, the Mech Squad goes out to eliminate the wolf pack. As a group of farmers began to forge iron ingots into Mark I armor parts with a rough style of violent aesthetics, a wave of discussion climaxed again in the live broadcast room of Blue Star. "Dear guests, what do you think of Tang Xiaofan's choice? He actually sent all the farmers to forge iron." Sister Yuki was a little worried, and she asked the 3 guests. "He must have lost his mind. He summoned useless farmers for the food that could be exchanged for resources just now. Now he is making these useless mechas again, just giving up on himself." Zhang Xiaoxio was the first to speak. He had long been dissatisfied with Tang Xiaofan, who could only point fingers. He thought someone should be replaced. For example, if he went, he would definitely not start as a farmer. I think it is understandable that Tang Xiaofan did this. First of all, he is not short of food. Secondly, his farmers can be upgraded. We just saw that the 2 farmers at the beginning have become blacksmiths. Let's wait and see what surprises this player from Dragon Country will bring us. The bureau chief is worthy of having seen big scenes, and his analysis is very logical. Then Master Zheng, do you think that, if everyone has one mecha, is it possible to resist the first wave of beasts? Master Zheng put down the pliers in his hand and stopped fighting with a beard. He nodded and said, "I don't think it's likely. I have made this thing before. It can only be said to be a showpiece. The main reason is that it lacks power and basically relies on pulling." "Yes," I said, "don't look at him jumping around now. He will be defeated sooner or later." With Zhang Xiaoxio's resounding words, today's God and Demon continent came to an end, and the first batch of farmers led by Tang Xiaofan had built their own Mark I mechas. And by the way, they helped Tang Xiaofan make a set. Farmers 1 and 2 have completed the refining of iron ingots. In addition to the iron ingots used to build Mark I, there are more than 100. Tang Xiaofan checked the upgrades of the castle with satisfaction. 2,000 units of wood, 1,000 units of stone, and 100 units of iron ingots. Now all that is missing is wood and stone, which can be exchanged with food. So, he called out, "Everyone, put on your mechas, let's go hunting." "Yes, Lord." More than 20 strong men responded in unison, and then put on their respective Mark 1 armors. Except for Tang Xiaofan's mecha, which was empty-handed, the mechas of others all held huge sticks, maces. Well, your aesthetics are also surprisingly consistent. I hope the monsters in the forest today have bought insurance. Let's go. Boom. Boom. Tang Xiaofan followed the mecha team and walked into the forest. At this moment, the forest felt much quieter because of the previous cleaning by Nang Yi and Nang Er. There were fewer velociraptors, two-headed dogs, and hellboars. So, according to the current thermal energy analysis, there is a group of magic wolves in front of us, about 100. Combat effectiveness assessment, vulnerable. Tang Xiaofan nodded with satisfaction. He liked this kind of crushing game the most. Move forward in a skirmish line. Directly ahead, target the demon wolf pack. Yes, Lord. 25 Mark 1 battle armors, in the form of a goose feather formation, pressed towards the demon wolf pack. Immediately, the demon wolf on guard discovered them, and as the wolf howled continuously, a great battle began. The demon wolf's wind blades were extremely dense, but unfortunately they were powerless against the heavy iron plate. When the wolves wanted to escape, they found that they had been surrounded. One after another, huge maces with a whistling sound of wind, slaughtered to their heart's content. Oh my god. Isn't the player from Dragon Country too strong? I think the farmer is the strongest soldier. The ugly country is undefeated. The big brown bear from the ugly country can kill the entire wolf pack with one bear. That's right, the two-headed snake from the Sakura country is also powerful. It has become the master of the forest. Don't brag, it's too shameless. You can watch the live broadcast of Dragon Country, and we can also watch the live broadcast of your players. Haha, there are keyboard masters everywhere, especially international friends. Brother Tang is awesome glass. Farmer is awesome glass. Woo. After a fierce mace smashed down and smashed the head of the demon wolf into pieces, the wolf pack was completely wiped out. Tang Xiaofan was suddenly a little excited. I didn't expect the battle to end so quickly. This Iron Man mecha is really strong, and there are 25 Iron Men. Oh, there is a commanding Iron Man who only talks, but doesn't do anything. A golden light fell, and Tang Xiaofan hurriedly checked his personal information. Sure enough, he upgraded again. The level changed from level 1 to level 2. He now felt that his physical fitness should be comparable to that of his farmers. Have you upgraded? Yes, my lord. We have all upgraded. Well, Farmer 1 and Farmer 2 have upgraded to level 4, and the other farmers have also upgraded by 1 level. Tang Xiaofan waved his hand. Take the spoils and return to the city. Strength lies in numbers. This time when he came back, he directly harvested 2,000 units of food. It's a pity that there are not many soul stones, but he is not worried at all, because his farmers are not idle either. 15 of the farmers changed their jobs to blacksmiths, so that some are responsible for mining, some are responsible for refining iron ingots, and some are responsible for collecting stones and wood. There are also a few people responsible for building farmhouses and expanding the population unit. As for the population of farmers, Tang Xiaofan did not plan to expand in a hurry. On the one hand, he wanted to upgrade the castle, and on the other hand, he had not yet obtained a stable source of food, such as farmland or animal pens. It would be very stressful to rush to expand the population. Therefore, he directly put 200 units of food on the trading channel. The materials for exchange were the same as before. 1 unit of food, exchange for 1 soul stone, 1 unit of food. 20 units of wood, 1 unit of food. 10 units of stone, 1 unit of food. 1 unit of iron ingot, available food. 200 units. This time, as soon as the food was put on the shelves, it was snatched by the castle lords. Many castle lords have been waiting in the trading channel, fearing that they would get the news too late and miss the opportunity. It is true that Tang Xiaofan's exchange price is a bit black, but they can only grit their teeth and exchange. After all, even if they can starve and not eat for a day or two, they will not starve to death. But the troops under their command are not like this. When the troops are hungry, First the combat effectiveness will decrease, and then the loyalty will decrease. Once the loyalty drops below 60 points, the troops are very likely to betray. The troops of other castle lords are not like Tang Xiaofan's farmers, who were born in the farmer factory and have a loyalty of 100 points at birth, locked as fanatical and diehard. Farmers will not betray their lords. This is a hidden attribute of farmers. Chapter 10. Upgrading the castle. Roll up your sleeves and get to work. Apart from the peasants, other soldiers would show different attitudes towards the castle lord depending on their loyalty. Therefore, the 200 units of food were eaten up in seconds after they were sent up. Are you crazy? Are you all starving ghosts? Not leaving any. 200 units of food were snatched away in 2 seconds? Are you all pigs? You are all Teo Bayo Star Diamond buyers, right? You have mastered the secret of instant kill, right? If there is no food, the pigs in my family will eat me. You beasts. My flower country has always been at peace with the world. It's just that the ancient python bloomed. How can you be so jealous? Put out the food quickly. Is there any kind-hearted person who can tell me how to cook tree bark? Does Boss Tang Xiaofan have any food left? If so, put it all on the shelves. I'm so curious about what kind of troops Boss Tang Xiaofan has. He got another 200 units of food in such a short time. The strength of his troops must be awesome. I guess it must be some mythical troops. It must be a mythical troops. I started with 2 farmers, but there is only 1 farmer left. The other one was eaten by a rabbit. Dragon Country is just lucky. Looking at the information in the chat channel, Tang Xiaofan was a little surprised. Unexpectedly, there was someone who started as a farmer like him. He could only wish good luck to that brother in his heart. He probably didn't have the system to help him, but he didn't care too much. More than 200 countries competed together, but his farmers had already started to arm themselves in the direction of Iron Man. It was difficult for other monsters to cause him any trouble. If one Iron Man might not be able to deal with Thanos, then what about 10,000 Iron Men? You know, his farmers can have unlimited soldiers. Tang Xiaofan opened the castle warehouse and counted the harvest. Finally, the statistics came out. 200 units of food were exchanged for a total of 2,000 units of wood and 1,000 units of stone, in addition to the wood and stone that the farmers had been collecting before. He now has a total of more than 3,000 units of wood and more than 2,000 units of stone. The conditions for upgrading the castle are 2,000 units of wood, 1,000 units of stone, and 100 iron ingots. The conditions have been met. You can upgrade. Do you want to upgrade the castle? Yes, no upgrade. Tang Xiaofan did not hesitate and immediately chose yes. In an instant, the dazzling golden light enveloped his castle. A few seconds later, the golden light faded. A slightly more solid red brick house appeared in Tang Xiaofan's field of vision. Compared with the previous one, the upgraded castle had changed the iron roof, and it was no longer shabby and old, but became somewhat modern. Congratulations, your castle has been upgraded to an intermediate castle, and the sphere of influence has been increased to 500 meters. The defense value of the castle heart has been tripled. The influence and reputation of your castle in the Endless Continent have been greatly improved. Congratulations, you have unlocked some buildings. Black Technology Castle, current level, level 2 castle, ordinary building, warehouse, special building, farmer factory, upgrade requirements. 10,000 units of wood, 7,000 units of stone, 1,000 units of iron ingots, new buildings, kitchen, wood factory, stone workshop, next level, level 3 castle, current status, invincible, current faction. None. Looking at the new castle, Tang Xiaofan was happy. He should be the first person in the God and Demon continent to upgrade his castle. Jarvis, start analyzing the new castle, and then start the research and development preparation of the new Mark Mecha. Sir. Yes, sir. At this moment, the people who were still in the live broadcast room discovered the changes in the castle of the Dragon Country player. Oh my god, the Dragon Country players are so powerful, they upgraded the castle so quickly. Who said it wasn't? We, the Iron Pot Country, have always been the Iron Son of the Dragon Country. This time, the Dragon Country will definitely take care of us. Take care? The Dragon Country can't take care of itself, and it's taking care of you. You're thinking too much. Is the person above a fool? Don't you know? The resources explored by the players will be 100 times that of the country they are in now. The Dragon Country players are so powerful, so they will naturally find the most resources, so the Dragon Country will naturally be the most powerful country. At this moment, Jarvis has completed the analysis, and he said to Tang Xiaofan, "Sir, the analysis is complete. We can start making the Mark II, but we must first solve the metal problem. The most critical thing about the Mark II is the improvement of metal, from the original ordinary steel plate to alloy armor. This greatly improves the defense of the Mark II. Of course, there is no way to make an arc reactor at present, and the flying ability cannot be used for the time being. However, sir, if the new alloy armor is used, the overall weight of the armor will be greatly reduced. If the external battery is used, the Mark II can fly for a short time of 30 minutes. Tang Xiaofan smiled and said, "Well, it's better than nothing. In this way, we can travel faster." Now that he has a direction, he doesn't want to waste time. After all, the first beast tide is coming, and it is key to seize the time to enhance his combat effectiveness. He went to the farmer's factory to summon 25 farmers, divided into 5 teams, wearing Mark I steel armor, and exploring in 5 directions. Remember, our exploration goal is 10 kilometers, and we will explore the mines, monsters, and roads in these 10 kilometers. Yes, Lord. The 25 big men answered loudly, began to wear Mark armor, holding maces, and began to explore around the forest. Tang Xiaofan directed the remaining farmers who had been summoned to build the buildings that had just been released, kitchens, woodboard factories, and stone workshops. The most urgent thing must be the kitchen, because Tang Xiaofan was a little hungry just now, and he was going to find something to eat in the warehouse. Nang Yi was also looking for something to eat. When he heard Tang Xiaofan say that he wanted to find something to eat, he immediately took out a piece of meat from the pile of meat and handed it to him. "My lord, please eat." Looking at the slightly dried wolf leg, Tang Xiaofan couldn't help but praise the function of the castle. "But, can this thing be eaten directly? Eat it directly?" "Yes, my lord, the food of a unit is like this." Nang Yi demonstrated, put a piece of meat into his mouth, chewed it and swallowed it. "Jarvis, do you have any cooking skills? I really can't eat this thing." "Sorry, sir, I'm a black technology system, not a dark cooking system." Now it's good. There is finally a kitchen. Tang Xiaofan asked the farmer to build the kitchen as soon as possible. Then, considering that everyone has to eat, a simple shed was built next to the kitchen as a canteen. Then he showed Nanga the appearance of the dinner plates he used in college, and asked him to make a batch of dinner plates, based on the model. Then, he sat in the canteen, waiting for dinner. "I must have a portion of braised pork." Chapter 11 Discover the secrets of the world of gods and demons. When Nang Bei brought out the prepared meal, Tang Xiaofan almost popped his eyes out. "Is this the braised pork meal?" "Yes, my lord. This meal with braised pork, stir-fried dried shreds, steamed eggs, small green vegetables and an egg soup. Did you make it?" Nang Bei, a 2-meter tall big guy, was embarrassed by Tang Xiaofan's question. He nodded and smiled honestly. "I made it, my lord. Let's go to the kitchen." Tang Xiaofan immediately took Nang Bei to the kitchen. Just kidding. He clearly saw that one unit of food was a piece of meat. How could it turn into vegetables and egg soup? However, when he saw Nang Bei throw a piece of meat into a machine like an oven, ding. After a sound, a meal of 4 dishes and 1 soup was ready. Tang Xiaofan took a closer look and found that there were options such as roast chicken, hamburgers, and hot pot. "Jarvis, analyze it. What is the principle?" Tang Xiaofan returned to the cafeteria and started to eat the braised pork meal made by the system. "It tastes good, with a rich flavor, much better than meat. Sir, after analysis, this technology involves the replacement of energy and mass, and it cannot be cracked for the time being." Tang Xiaofan shook his head helplessly. Since Jarvis couldn't crack it, it means that the technological capabilities of this god and demon continent exceed the current cognitive level of Blue Star. Now the key is to survive in this competition. But the scene of Tang Xiaofan eating made the audience of Blue Star boil. Is Don having a meal? Of course he's having a meal. What I mean is, other people don't seem to have this set meal. They all get a piece of meat, either roasted or boiled. How come Don has a set meal? And an egg custard? Yes, now I understand, after you put it that way. It seems that only the Dragon Country's castle has a cafeteria. As expected of a country of big fooders, the Dragon Country's players lead such a leisurely life. There's no comparison. Looking at the way our Sakura Country players chew on raw meat, I really envy the Dragon Country. Yes, I hope the Dragon Country's castle can hold on a little longer. My ugly country players will definitely come to take over this cafeteria. Dream on, you ugly and shameless people. Not long after, a team that went out to explore returned. They found an abandoned mine, but it was currently occupied by a group of demonized spiders. Instead of alerting the enemy, they returned to the castle and handed a piece of ore to Tang Xiaofan. Sir, this is titanium ore. It is the core material of the Mark series mecha. Tang Xiaofan nodded with satisfaction and said to the farmer he brought back, well done, let's eat first. Then, he took the ore to find Nang Yi. Nang Yi was leading people to upgrade the technology at this moment. Seeing their heated discussion, Tang Xiaofan couldn't help interrupting them. Nang Yi, come and melt this ore into a metal ingot and then make a machete according to this formula. Okay, Lord, you will be later. Nang Yi has now changed his job to a blacksmith. He no longer looks like a farmer in his every move. He is full of the style of a metallurgical master. Then, in less than a minute, a titanium ingot was made. Then, he looked at Tang Xiaofan, who melted the metal ingot and some other materials together according to the black technology titanium alloy formula provided by Jarvis, and then swung the sledgehammer. Several blacksmiths next to him took turns with small hammers. Ding ding dang dang for 5 minutes, and a cold and shining machete more than one person tall was made. Sir, this is too unscientific. Please allow me to explain that titanium metal cannot be melted by ordinary iron furnaces. Moreover, the strength of titanium alloy cannot be shaped by a few hammers. Okay, I give up my ridiculous scientific view. The composition of this machete is the material we need for the Mark II and even the future Mark mecha. Tang Xiaofan laughed secretly in his heart. He felt that Jarvis's self-esteem was challenged. Compared with the black technology in the Marvel world, perhaps the technology of the God and Demon continent is a real black technology. In a blacksmith shop, there is no alloy that cannot be melted, and no weapon that cannot be made. At this time, the wood factory and the stone workshop were also completed. Tang Xiaofan immediately went to see the effect. Like the kitchen and the blacksmith shop, these two factories can produce what they want, as long as someone operates them and puts in the raw materials. For example, for the chairs for the cafeteria, you only need to put in 3 units of wood, and you will spit out a set of combination furniture with a table and 6 chairs. For example, if you put in 10 units of stone, you will quickly produce a 5-meter high and 3-meter wide wall. Tang Xiaofan was very happy. Now as long as he had enough resources, he could let go of his horsepower and let these factories work non-stop. And these farmers were very happy. What made them happiest was working for their lord, and they didn't need any salary or vacation at all. But Tang Xiaofan issued his first order. All factories must strictly abide by the 8-hour work system and the labor remuneration system. Jarvis, you must formulate a labor protection regulation as soon as possible. If there is no money for the time being, use points instead. Workers must have dignity. Of course, in order to survive, Tang Xiaofan told Jarvis that the labor protection regulations did not include clauses for fighting against the enemy. Now every bit of strength is necessary, and everyone must go to the battlefield. When the other 4 exploration teams came back, Tang Xiaofan also knew the general situation around his castle. At present, an abandoned titanium metal mine has been detected. The mining equipment is intact, but it is occupied by demonized spiders and has not been cleaned up. 2 lumber yards, occupied by demonized velociraptors, have been cleared. 3 stone mines, occupied by demonized wild boars, have been cleared. 5 iron mines, occupied by demonized wolves, have been cleared. There are also some abandoned factories, supermarkets, and even a few buildings. But the farmer's ability to distinguish is limited, and they can't judge the value for the time being. Tang Xiaofan is very satisfied. This shows that the God and Demon continent is not a world with backward technology. It's just that this world seems to be occupied by monsters. And these resources and ruins left behind need to be reused by the lord of the castle. Eat. People who eat must eat. Yes, lord. With an order, nearly 50 farmers collectively entered the cafeteria and started eating. Hey, don't just eat, chat and fart. Yes, lord. Tang Xiaofan looked at the farmers' clumsy exchanges with satisfaction. He believed that, as long as he and Jarvis continued to work hard, they would definitely help these men live out their own splendor in this world. While Tang Xiaofan and the farmers were feasting, the sawmill, stone mine and iron mine they had acquired had already materialized 100-fold in Dragon Country. Chapter 12. Resources 100 times more present in Dragon Country. Blue Star, Dragon Country. As Tang Xiaofan's farmers occupied those resources, the entire Dragon Country began to change unknownly. That's right, the first manifestation of the god and demon continent on Blue Star is beginning. The people of Dragon Country only felt a warm breeze blowing, as if the spring sun was shining on their bodies, warm and comfortable. Many of them didn't understand why, so after a while, Dragon Country fell into peace again. But the changes in manifestation still appeared in the eyes of some people. Many vacant lands, barren mountains, and even desert areas that have not been managed for many years, suddenly appeared iron mines, forests and stone mines out of thin air. These situations naturally attracted everyone's attention. Combined with the hints of the god and demon continent at the beginning, those who are interested naturally know that the resources at this time are the phenomena brought about by Tang Xiaofan's occupation of resources in the god and demon continent and the manifestation in Dragon Country. Sure enough, under the analysis of the Dragon Country's senior officials, some resources did appear out of thin air in Dragon Country. Although these resources appeared in many places, their common feature is that they turned the originally worthless places into resource points. After all, it is a 100-fold manifestation. In the god and demon continent, although these resources have not been seen in their entirety, they must not be too large. However, the scale of the resource points after the 100-fold materialization is shocking! Exclamation mark. For example, the forest that appeared in the desert covers thousands of hectares, directly turning a piece of uninhabitable wasteland into a forest with green trees. It directly changed the local ecology. The iron ore that appeared on those barren mountains is even more exaggerated. The ultra high quality iron ore directly solved the industrial problems and employment problems in these areas. You know, Lango has a large territory and abundant resources, but it has been troubled by the scarcity of iron ore for a long time. Now, these iron ores can directly solve the urgent problem. As for those stone mines, or more accurately, stone mountains, there is no good way to develop them. The news of Lango's materialized resources naturally cannot be concealed from other countries. After this news was posted online, it immediately caused the whole world to boil. Naturally, the internet was also full of discussions about this. Fuck. It really materialized? 100 times more materialized. Although it's just ordinary iron ore, forests and stones, in the hands of a country like Dragon Country, it's simply adding wings to a tiger. I don't know when our country's players will be able to find the first resource. My ugly country's big brown bear will go out tomorrow, and these resources are routine operations. My Sakura country doesn't care. When our two-headed snake grows up, you will know that these resources are nothing. Haha, you are all jealous. The news that Dragon Country obtained iron ore resources out of thin air immediately caused an uproar in the world and became the hottest topic. People finally realized that this time the god and demon continent can really solve the urgent problem of resource shortage in the entire Blue Star. You know, except for some countries that rely on the weather for food, which country is not short of various resources? In order to maintain the normal operation of enterprises, they must import resources from other countries. For example, the most typical oil. Most countries in the world can only watch the kings of the bearded country spend their money on wine and women and live a luxurious life, but can only provide them with a large amount of money in exchange for their oil. Not to mention that the king of whose country actually has a male period, and he is in a bad mood every other day, and the price of oil is constantly fluctuating. Now, with the possibility of this 100-fold manifestation, the good days of whose country are finally coming to an end. Although Dragon Country now only has resources such as iron ore, stone and wood, which cannot be used as survival resources. But what if the Dragon Country players find survival resources? Discover a freshwater lake, or even an oil field! Exclamation mark. That's a 100-fold manifestation! Exclamation mark. In the God and Demon continent, the resources that are considered small will become huge after experiencing a 100-fold manifestation and coming to the world. Such a result, no one dares to ignore. The original perception that the God and Demon continent is a global crisis has also changed with the emergence of a 100-fold manifestation. Of course, the top leaders of various countries are naturally fully prepared. They clearly realize that this time the God and Demon continent will completely change the pattern of the entire world. It is even possible that the small countries that have been unknown before will completely turn over and squeeze into the ranks of world-class powers. After all, resources are indeed the top priority for a country. However, the reaction of each country was indeed very quick. At this time, it was only about 8 hours since the opening of the God and Demon continent. The expert teams formed by various countries have also been assembled. The expert teams are working at full capacity to provide advice to the players in the God and Demon continent. Unfortunately, the players cannot see the comments and advice from the real world, and they can only rely on themselves to survive. The commotion in the outside world still has little to do with the players in the God and Demon continent. At this time, Tang Xiaofan, a player from Dragon Country, actually discovered more than just resources. After all, if it is just a simple discovery of resources, then although it is of great benefit to the real world, but it is not so beneficial to the players in the God realm. Compared with before, congratulations, you have successfully occupied the resource point, and the sphere of influence has increased to 10 kilometers. The defense value of the heart of the castle has increased 3 times. Your black technology castle has greatly increased its influence and reputation in the God and Demon continent. Special reminder, you are in the Lonely Hills, and your castle is currently emerging. That's it? Tang Xiaofan waited for a long time. But he didn't wait for the reward he expected to appear. He got so many resource points, but there was no reward. This made him extremely regretful. Tang Xiaofan had every reason to believe that he was the first one to occupy the resource points. After all, it had only been a few hours since the other players came to the God and Demon continent, and no one could occupy the resource points in such a short time by their own strength. It was also through trading Jarvis's black technology system that he was able to activate the resources in the early stage of the game, crush the monsters in the forest, and occupy the resource points. He was the first to occupy the resource points, but there was no reward. It must be said that Tang Xiaofan was a little disappointed. Tang Xiaofan asked, what does sphere of influence mean exactly? After occupying the resource points, his sphere of influence expanded to a radius of 10 kilometers. All resources within the sphere of influence belong to the lord of the castle. If outside creatures, including monsters and players, enter the sphere of influence of your castle without permission, you will be prompted. So that's how it is. That's good, at least we can get an early warning radar. 10 kilometers is not too far or too close, at least we can prepare for defense. According to the prompt sound, Tang Xiaofan also learned that the big forest where he was called Lonely Hill. Chapter 13, Occupy the titanium mine and exploit the potential of farmers for promotion. So that's how it is. What does emerging mean? This special reminder doesn't seem to be good news. His high-tech castle is now emerging in Lonely Hill. The emerging state is a reflection of the castle's influence and reputation. The influence and reputation of a castle in an area can be divided into emerging, fledgling, famous, world famous. The higher the influence and reputation, the more it can attract the attention of monsters in the God and Demon continent. When the influence and reputation reach a certain level, there will be a probability that monsters will come to surrender. And there is also a probability that monsters will actively attack. It's really good news. There is a probability that monsters will actively attack. This is not good news for others, but for Tang Xiaofan, it is the best news. Thinking of the monsters actively attacking, and then being besieged by steel mechas under the city, and becoming a pile of materials and food. Tang Xiaofan felt that he had to speed up the construction of the city wall. As for those who come here because of their reputation, a black technology castle that has just emerged should not have such charm. No matter what, we must make full use of the 7-day novice protection period. We must upgrade the castle to the 3rd level, upgrade the farmer factory, build the city wall, and recruit enough farmers. The most important thing is that the Mark II mecha must be equipped. It seems that they have sensed Tang Xiaofan's determination. The farmers finished their meal quickly and put on the Mark I mecha. Nang Yi and Nanga took the lead and led a group of skilled farmers, waiting for Tang Xiaofan's order. Let's go. Go early and come back early. After occupying that resource point, we will come back to rest. Yes, Lord. After a group of strong men saluted, they turned around and set off towards the titanium metal mine. The remaining farmers took advantage of the early morning to pack up the prey brought back by the 5 teams. The stone workshop and the wood factory were fully staffed, and they needed a lot of work to do. Because Tang Xiaofan decided to build the inner city wall and animal pens, as well as roads to several mines, starting tomorrow. Although the God and Demon continent does not provide a stable food source such as farms and animal pens, he does not intend to sit and wait for death. He decided to do it himself, starting with the animal pens, to see if he can build a breeding industry. As for planting, he needs to find suitable land and seeds before he can start, and the time period required for farming is too long, and his current preparations are not sufficient. So he will raise animals first. Maybe the demonized animals on the God and Demon continent have strong reproductive capacity, so he doesn't have to worry about food shortages. At this moment, a team of farmers who are heading to the titanium metal mine are fighting hard. The mines here are guarded by a group of demonized spiders. They occupy the mine pits and make them their nests. Countless demonized spiders crawled out of the mine pits screaming, wanting to tear apart the farmers in steel armor in front of them, but they didn't expect to become the souls of the farmers. For food, the farmers did not use fire, which is the most deadly attack for spiders. Instead, they used maces to beat the demonized spiders to death. Bang, bang, bang bang bang. Countless maces smashed down, smashing the demonized spiders to pieces and killing them. After smashing for about 10 minutes, a huge 6-eyed spider rushed out of the cave. This spider was the leader of the cave at first glance. Its huge legs were extremely sharp and looked like they could penetrate steel. Hiss. Puff. Unfortunately, its opponents were a group of farmers who had no chivalry. More than 20 big sticks fell, and the heroic spiders died on the spot. The farmers also successfully occupied the titanium mine and planted the flag of the Black Technology Castle. Seeing that the titanium mine began to produce ore, the farmers turned around and left, carrying the bodies of spiders on their shoulders and heading towards the castle. Soon, many monster bodies piled up in front of Tang Xiaofan. The farmers were familiar with the road. The bodies of the demonized spiders were collected and decomposed one by one. Food, fur, teeth and other materials were stored in the warehouse. Tang Xiaofan did not plan to put the food on the trading channel for a source exchange this time. Except for soul stones, he did not need resources urgently. Unfortunately, so far, he has not exchanged for soul stones. Instead, the wood, stone and iron, ore in the warehouse, are accumulating more and more. When the time came to night, the wood and stone in Tang Xiaofan's hands reached 5,000 units, 3,800 units and 2,000 units respectively, and the food broke through the 8,000 mark. It seems that it will be enough for the 50 farmers to eat for a while. And this time, when I went out to hunt demonized spiders, I actually accumulated 50 soul stones. Upgrading the army building farmer factory requires 100 soul stones. Not too far. As for the Black Technology Castle, the upgrade from level 2 to level 3 can be completed tomorrow. If I work harder tomorrow, I should be able to upgrade. Tomorrow, there is no need to go out to expand for the time being. I will hurry up to collect resources and accumulate for the subsequent expansion. 50 farmers working together will surely be able to quickly turn the occupied resources into combat effectiveness. Thinking of this, Tang Xiaofan's heart was full of expectations. At this time, Tang Xiaofan nodded slightly. Rest for a night and go out to hunt wild monsters tomorrow morning. Yes, Lord. The 50 farmers obeyed Tang Xiaofan's orders. At this time, Tang Xiaofan suddenly found that the expressions of Nang Yi and Nang Er became more lively. When they were just recruited from the farmer factory, the farmers seemed like robots, with a dull look on their faces, and no spirit at all. Now they have expressions and even start to make small movements. Nang Yi, Nang Er, have you been promoted again? Yes, Lord. Nang Yi said respectfully, Lord, we have gained energy in the blacksmith shop, and went out to fight, and completed the upgrade. Nang Er also looked at Tang Xiaofan enthusiastically and said, praise the Lord. Your favor has allowed our strength to be rapidly improved. It won't take long for us to be promoted to level 10, and then we can choose to change jobs. Change jobs. After the farmer is upgraded to level 10, he can switch to other professions. It seems that this lowest level soldier has unlimited potential compared to other soldiers. For example, the advanced soldier, the wyvern. Adults are level 14, and the growth limit is level 18. After reaching level 18, it is very difficult to kill enemies and become a king. You must find other ways to break through. In comparison, the growth limit of farmers is terrifyingly high. For the weakest farmer, the growth limit may be God. Because the most powerful gods also come from ordinary people. Very good. Keep this progressive mentality. One day, the continent of gods and demons will be ruled by our black technology castle. Chapter 14 Successfully synthesizing titanium alloy to create the Mark II. Tang Xiaofan smiled and clapped his two most capable men. The two farmers were immediately excited, and then beat their chests with one hand, saying solemnly, Lord, we will keep moving forward under your command. Tang Xiaofan, okay. Then everyone dispersed, leaving the sentinels behind, and the others began to rest. The second day of the Advent. Tang Xiaofan woke up early from the castle. First, he took the clean water from the farmer, and used it to wash. Then he came to the castle's cafeteria. Facing the 3 dishes, and 1 soup that had been prepared long ago, 1 large meat dish, 1 small meat dish, 1 vegetable dish, and 1 soup. A new day began. The other farmers had already had breakfast, and began to collect materials on their own. Compared with many castle lords who were starving, Tang Xiaofan's life can be called the treatment of a king. After breakfast, Tang Xiaofan came to the yard of the castle. Seeing many farmers holding stones, wood and iron ore, they spontaneously began to collect supplies. Nang Yi, go gather some people and build a cart for transporting goods. Tang Xiaofan saw that it was too inefficient to just move things with his hands, and he already had a blacksmith shop and a lumber mill, so it would be stupid not to use them. Let the blacksmith shop build the axle, and let the carpenter at the lumber mill build the cart, and then combine the two to make a cart that can be transported. This is at least more efficient. Tang Xiaofan watched the farmers start to transport materials and resources with carts, and nodded with satisfaction. This stage is a good start. Sir, according to the current efficiency, hand-pushing carts are the most efficient, but if there are more resources and farther away, it is recommended that you start the railway transportation system. Railway? There are too few people now, and there are not many resources, so the railway is a bit wasteful. But if he can have a second castle, he can consider building a railway at that time. Tang Xiaofan can only put this idea aside for the time being. At present, the Mark II mecha is not mature yet, and the escort force is still very weak. It is not appropriate to deploy it too early. Nang Yi, Nang Er, we are going to make titanium alloy today. Yes, my lord. After Nang Yi and Nang Er finished the transport vehicle, they took 5 blacksmiths, and began to cooperate with Tang Xiaofan to refine titanium alloy. After the alloy formula was handed to Nang Yi, the temperament of this farmer suddenly became like Yulinian, unfathomable. The smelting furnace in the blacksmith shop was burning red, and titanium ore and iron ore, as well as some messy and inexplicable things, were thrown into the furnace by Nang Yi. A new smelting formula has been detected, and the combination has been completed. Do you want to melt it? Yes, no. Tang Xiaofan naturally chose yes. Suddenly, a silver-white metal ingot fell out of the smelting furnace. After the heat dissipated, a metal ingot shining with silver light appeared in Tang Xiaofan's field of vision. This thing looks ordinary, but the continuous shining of the silver light made Tang Xiaofan extremely happy. Titanium alloy. This is a unique feature of titanium alloy. Moreover, this is not an ordinary titanium alloy, but the titanium alloy in the most advanced Mark 40 model according to the Jarvis database. It can automatically absorb energy. For example, this titanium alloy can absorb surrounding energy such as heat and kinetic energy, and convert it into electricity, and can even directly absorb electricity to charge the battery. Not bad, not bad. This is what I want. As for the nano armor, the threshold is too high. Let's talk about it later. Batch production. Make as many as you can. Yes, Lord. Nang Yi and Nanga heard Tang Xiaofan's order and quickly began to organize people to start work. Jarvis, I need the production drawings of Mark II. Okay, sir, I'll draw it for you right away. With the help of Jarvis, Tang Xiaofan quickly drew the shell of Mark II. This time it is different from Mark I, with many more details. Joints, hands, and an additional auxiliary system, weapon system. Of course, without a macro reactor, there is no need to think about palm cannons, but there are a lot of fertilizer bombs and Molotov cocktails. Moreover, according to Tang Xiaofan's experiments, the production of these two weapons is relatively easy, and Jarvis' experience makes these two items become the conventional long-range weapons of the Mark II mecha. That's right, long-range weapons. Because there are also melee weapons. Considering that the honeycomb battery has enough power, but not enough endurance, Tang Xiaofan defines the melee weapon of the Mark II as a giant axe. A double-edged giant axe. The giant axe is 3 meters high and weighs 1.5 tons. Such a weapon is basically impossible for conventional carbon-based creatures to resist. After completing the drawing, Tang Xiaofan called Nangsan and Nangxi and asked them to start building the shell of the new Mark II mecha with their hands. In order to save trouble, they only need to build a right hand, and the left hand can directly put the handle of the giant axe. Nangsan and Nangxi immediately saluted respectfully and took people to work. Tang Xiaofan smiled and nodded, then looked at the warehouse. Various materials were increasing, and several factories were also working at full capacity. Maybe the castle could be upgraded soon. He thought that he had not collected enough soulstones, so he opened the trading channel to try his luck. Finally I got some food. When I exchanged cheap wood for food, I felt how treacherous Tang Xiaofan was. Early in the morning, I felt like crying when I ate the steaming hot roast beef. Big Bear is so awesome. Praise Big Bear, I love you. One more thing, boycott Big Bear, boycott all profiteers. Huh. Seeing this, Tang Xiaofan immediately understood that someone was trying to steal his business. Using food to exchange for wood and stone was a shortcut for Tang Xiaofan to quickly upgrade the castle level. He thought he could enjoy 2 more days of benefits, but he didn't expect someone to steal his business on the second day. And it was cheap food. He started to climb the stairs. Fortunately, it was morning and everyone's chat records had not been flushed. Soon he locked on the real owner. It was Big Bear, who frequently appeared in the world chat channel. This Big Bear actually put a total of 500 units of food on the shelves this morning. All of them were beef. And the resources he exchanged were half lower than Tang Xiaofan's. In addition to Bear Grylls, there are also a few castle lords selling food. As soon as it was put on the shelves, it was sold out. It can be seen that some castle lords with powerful troops, although they did not have a very happy day yesterday, stood up one after another after summoning more troops on the second day. They are very sensible. Borrowing food, exchanging resources in the hands of other castle lords, and improving their own strength. Among these castle lords, the most eye-catching one is Bear Grylls. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15, Invitation from the Ugly Country Player. Because Bear Grylls took out the most food, up to 500 units, and the price was the lowest, his generosity won the recognition and praise of many castle lords. They regarded him as the new boss. As for Tang Xiaofan, he became a profiteer. Sure enough, you can't underestimate these people. The castle lord of the ugly country still has some tricks. If you are careless, you will definitely be left behind by them. Tang Xiaofan didn't mind being denounced as a profiteer and regarded as the negative material of Bear Grylls. What he cares about is the development of his castle power. As long as his strength is strong enough, the name of profiteer will naturally not be remembered. Tang Xiaofan clicked on his friend information. From yesterday to today, at least millions of castle lords have added him as a friend. But he rejected them all. Coincidentally, he saw Bear Grylls in the new friend application, and he also commented my army is the ancient giant bear. The ancient giant bear is the top army in the god and demon continent. I think this should be the real army of Bear Grylls. Tang Xiaofan hesitated for a moment. As usual, he refused. In his opinion, there was no need to add friends in the early stage of the castle's development. After all, it was difficult to help each other. If there was a conflict of interest between the two parties in the future, they could contact each other. The premise was that the two parties were not enemies and had not been eliminated. And all of Tang Xiaofan's actions were clearly seen by the netizens guarding the live broadcast room. Fuck. Awesome. The contestant from the ugly country turned out to be the famous Bear Grylls. Bear Grylls? Fuck. That's a ruthless man. And this contestant from the ugly country was indeed a big shot. He was a wilderness survival expert known to people all over the world. He was nicknamed Bear Grylls. This man was said to be at the top of the food chain. What is the most important thing for survival in the wild? That's right, it's the intake of food and water. And this Bear Grylls is an expert in this field. He claimed that there was nothing he dared not eat, at least in this forbidden land of the god's domain. He would not worry about not being able to survive. After all, everyone could see the environment at this time. This must be an extreme environment with harsh survival. If you can't even guarantee survival, let alone obtain resources, it's worthy of Bear Grylls. Is survival really the top priority? With Bear Grylls here, at least our ugly country doesn't have to worry. This Tang Xiaofan from Dragon Country is too ungrateful. He rejected Bear Grylls. Wait for him to cry. Ha ha ha. Do you know the contestant from Dragon Country? It's amazing. His military type is farmers. Ha ha ha. So miserable. I feel sad for Dragon Country. On a large plain far away from the dark forest, a ridiculously strong man was riding on the back of an ancient giant bear. Not far away, there were several ancient giant bears hunting bison. This man was Bear Grylls. He rejected my friend request. Bear Grylls was a little stunned. Bear Grylls was a little stunned. His friend request had never been rejected. After all, he was the lord of a castle with top-level military types, and his future was bright. Many castle lords wanted to get closer to him, but Tang Xiaofan rejected him. It should be because too many people added him as a friend. He didn't notice me or reject it. Thinking of this, Bear Grylls felt much better. Then, he glanced at the trading channel and shook his head slightly. He couldn't do the profiteer behavior of Tang Xiaofan. He was not pretending to be generous, nor was he a saint. He had great ideals. He wanted to establish a reputation in the circle of castle lords and expand his popularity. In the future, when the battle for hegemony begins, it will be easier for him to win over castle lords, surround him, and serve his castle power. The more castle lords who surrender to him, the stronger his castle power will be. The higher you stand, the farther you can see. Therefore, he needs prestige and fame. In the early stage, he can win the favor of countless castle lords with a little food. For him, this is a rich return on investment. And Tang Xiaofan's actions, in his opinion, are to cut himself off from the circle of castle lords, and it will be difficult for him to get the support of other castle lords in the future. If there is a chance, you can remind him. People should not only look at the immediate interests. The future is the most important. Benny Yi wanted to make friends with Tang Xiaofan. Not to mention serving him, it would be nice to form an alliance. Because he believed that Tang Xiaofan was able to release food in the trading channel on the first day, and he must be a very strong player. He is the same kind of person as him. They are all qualified to stand on the upper level of the god and demon continent. Such people are worth winning over and making friends with. At this time, a deafening roar sounded in the distance of the plain. The several ancient giant bears sent out by Benny Yi quickly withdrew, each dragging a bison in their mouths. His bright eyes narrowed slightly. It's the bison boss from yesterday. Elite monster. Although my ancient giant bear is powerful, it is not its opponent. Wait a little longer. I will be able to kill it in a few days. I wonder what the bison boss can explode? I hope it's not just soul stones. If it can explode equipment, it would be even better. Benny Yee looked into the distance, full of expectations. Equipment is an item that all monsters in the God and Demon continent will drop, and it is rarer than soul stones. It is harder to get equipment from ordinary wild monsters than to win the lottery. I just hope that elite monsters have a higher drop rate. Black Technology Castle. In the yard, Tang Xiaofan lay on his back on a bench. The factory not far away was in full swing, and the unique noisy sound of industrial production came. The sound enveloped Tang Xiaofan, making his mood extremely peaceful and tranquil. Compared with other castle lords, he lived a very comfortable life. And the castle was also covered by a protective shield. In an invincible state, he didn't have to worry about his life safety at all, and could enjoy a short period of peace. After all, the protection period for novices is only 7 days. After the protection period ends, hundreds of castle lords will face a cruel test. Such a relaxing day is very short. He is not slacking off, but he is only level 1 now, and has not mastered any skills. Even if he goes out hunting with the farmer team, he can't help much, but may put himself in a dangerous situation. Instead of going out and distracting the peasant team from protecting the place, it would be better to stay in the castle and instruct the peasants on their work. He could also learn about the information of the gods and demons continent through the world chat channel. At least, that was Jarvis' advice to him. Sir, don't go out and take risks without the protection of 1000 Mark 46 armors. Chapter 16. The situation of the continent of gods and demons, and killing elite monsters. The reason why Bear wanted to form an alliance was because he knew that the god and demon continent was a very large alien world. There were thousands of races. There were endless monsters and magic beasts, and there were also powerful local empires. However, according to his understanding, the castle lords from Blue Star should have landed in the wild, far away from the local empire of the continent. This was good news, which allowed the castle lords of Blue Star to avoid being invaded by powerful forces in the early stages of development. In addition, the random arms of the castle lords who landed on Blue Star were also diverse. There were humans, dwarves, elves, dragons. There were also humanoids, half dragons, half beasts, undeads, kind, dark, evil, neutral, or powerful top level arms, or weak low level arms, and so on. Countless. The vast majority of castle lords randomly got low and medium level arms. Only a few lucky castle lords randomly got high level and top level arms. Bear's ancient giant bear was a top level arm, and Tang Xiaofan's farmer. It is considered the lowest level soldier. Once this soldier is selected, it is destined to be eliminated at the beginning of the advent. Unfortunately, Tang Xiaofan actually came with the system. This alone is enough to show that his castle power has a promising future. As long as you don't commit suicide, the future is promising. Now, Nang Yi and Nang Er lead 5 farmers to smelt steel. Nang San and Nang Si lead 10 farmers to build Mark II mecha parts, and 10 farmers are responsible for transporting resources. The remaining farmers are busy in the stone workshop. Sections of the city wall are built and piled outside the workshop. Looking at the busy scene of the farmers, Tang Xiaofan is in a good mood. He decided to recruit another batch of farmers, and this time he recruited 25 farmers. He just saw that the ugly country's Bear Grylls could actually take out so much food for trading. He felt that he still couldn't give up hunting. Moreover, the soul stones should be accumulated as soon as possible to upgrade the farmer factory as soon as possible. Meet the Lord. As the food units were consumed, the 25 farmers met Tang Xiaofan again. Tang Xiaofan called 5 farmers who had participated in the hunt and asked them to bring new farmers and drive the Mark I to hunt the monsters around the castle. 25 farmers began to hunt monsters outside the castle. The monsters outside did not decrease. Although the farmers had killed a lot of wild monsters yesterday, many monsters appeared after a night. Although this brought hidden dangers to the safe production of the castle, it was also a stable source of food. Tang Xiaofan was satisfied with his discovery. In this way, he could start exchanging food for resources again. All resources were also obtained through the wild monsters killed by the farmers. This is the advantage of strong strength. In addition to the collection from resource points, a large amount of wood and stone can be obtained in a short time. If the castle's troops cannot sweep the wild monsters outside, they can only do basic collection work silently and indirectly lose the time to improve the strength of the troops. Among all the castle lords, only a very small number of castle lords with top level troops dare to imitate Tang Xiaofan. This batch of castle lords surpassed countless people at the beginning and walked in front. At this time, Tang Xiaofan suddenly heard a group of wolves howling from the dense forest not far away. In that direction, there was a huge sound shaking. Did we hit the wolf's den? Tang Xiaofan faintly heard the farmers shouting. The lord said, pay attention to aim, hit the head, swing the mace, don't be polite. In the dense forest 500 meters away from the castle, the battle was fierce. There were more than a dozen giant grey wolf corpses lying on the battlefield. The wolf corpses were covered with scars and blood. The farmer's mace was extremely fierce, but it was easy to smash the intact wolf corpse into pieces. Without the corpse, it would be impossible to collect resources. Therefore, when there was no danger, the farmers were forbidden by Tang Xiaofan to vend excessively. Compared with hitting randomly, the Kaiao Tao developed by the farmers themselves has stronger lethality. Although the attack of the mace will also destroy the fur of the monster, it can speed up the hunting speed and improve the strength of the farmers faster. In comparison, it is worth losing some monster fur. On the battlefield, the smell of blood filled the air. In addition to the dozen or so giant wolves that died, there were still 6 giant wolves that persisted. But they didn't persist for long, and they ran around like headless flies. They were soon killed by the farmer team. In the end, only one giant wolf was left, standing on a large bluestone, surrounded by farmers. This giant wolf was similar in size to the other giant wolves. The difference was that it had mottled golden wolf hair on its body, and its aura was also very strong. Level 10. This is an elite giant wolf, a small boss. It bared its teeth and growled, making a sound full of warnings and threats. However, its expression was obviously panic. It moved its limbs and was retreating. The pupils of its eyes were grayish white. This was a sign of panic. These guys in tin cans were too powerful. Not only were they invulnerable to swords and guns, but each of them was extremely powerful. Seeing their men fall one by one, the elite wolf organized a counterattack, organized an escape, and organized an attack, but they all failed. It was helpless as it watched its men fall one by one. Now, it was finally its turn. It roared in anger. Unfortunately, the farmer team would not be frightened by it. Even a giant dragon could not scare the farmers away. Food, you have to give up resistance. We, the Black Technology Castle, will destroy you in the name of justice. Farmer 23 was an experienced hunter. He raised his mace covered with brains and pointed it at the elite wolf, shouting, kill. The other 20 or so farmers immediately swung their maces and smashed the elite giant wolf. Ah! The elite giant wolf opened its ferocious mouth. It blindly spit out half-meter long wind blades in all directions. The wind blades slashed through, cutting through large trees one by one, and some collapsed directly, showing how powerful it was. However, the farmers were not moved at all. The defense of their Mark I mechas perfectly resisted the attack of the wind blades. Seeing that there was no way to escape, the elite giant wolf had no choice but to rush towards Farmer 23. He was the leader of this team. If he retreated, it might be an opportunity for the elite giant wolf. Unfortunately, there was no extra time for it to think. 20 maces smashed the elite giant wolf crazily. The elite giant wolf howled in pain, jumped off the big bluestone, and fled desperately. The farmer's maces can not only attack, but also form a defensive jungle. Under the arrangement of the Lord, no monster will have anywhere to escape. Chapter 17 Making a Spider Silk Shooter. In an instant, the Mark I mecha output power frantically, resisting the counterattack of the elite giant wolf. Then the other farmer smashed the mace on the elite giant wolf again. Suddenly, the elite giant wolf's movement was blocked, and the speed of escape was reduced several times. It howled and struggled desperately, trying to break free from the siege, but the power of the Mark I was too strong, and it was difficult for it to compete. It was imprisoned in place, and could not escape. Nang 23 has been upgraded. Although he is a farmer, his rich combat experience has awakened more combat skills. Perhaps, becoming a professional warrior and hunter is the ideal destination. Even in the future, can you rely on the new mecha to fight this kind of boss alone? Puff puff puff. When Nang 23 was distracted, the other farmers did not relax, and kept smashing the mace to kill the elite giant wolf. At the same time, Nang 23 and others were shining with golden light, and were promoted to. The other farmers looked at Nang 23 with reverence, and then began to clean up the battlefield. Farmer's castle. In the yard. Dazzling golden light enveloped Tang Xiaofan. When the golden light faded, he had already been promoted to level 3. He checked the information prompt. Suddenly, his expression was replaced by surprise. Killed the elite grey wolf, energy value plus 60, soulstone plus 10. 10 soulstones were exploded. Soulstones are special materials for upgrading the farmer's factory. His farmer's factory needs 100 soulstones to upgrade to level 2. Now, if he works harder and collects 100 soulstones, the farmer's factory can be upgraded directly. This is good news. Level 10 elite grey wolf. Compared to ordinary level 2 and 4 grey wolves, it is considered a small boss. The boss's explosion rate is obviously higher. As for the fact that the farmer team was able to kill the elite grey wolf, it is not surprising. After all, several farmers have rich hunting experience. Not long after, a large number of giant wolf corpses were brought back to the castle by the farmers. Tang Xiaofan followed the usual practice and asked the farmers to collect and decompose the giant wolf corpses one by one, including the corpses of the elite grey wolves. A total of 280 units of food were harvested, as well as various monster materials such as wolf teeth and fur. Add to that the food collected before. A total of 400 units. It seems that the total amount of food obtained every day can be controlled to 400. A little improvement is also an improvement. Summarize the combat experience. Tang Xiaofan decided to let this team of farmers be responsible for hunting monsters refreshed near the castle before the Mark II mecha was built, so the transformation of the Mark I model was put on the agenda. After Nang Xiaofan took off the Mark I armor, he saluted Tang Xiaofan first and replied, "Yes, Lord. At present, the Mark I model still has too few means of attack. There is only one attack mode, the mace, which is inevitably inefficient when facing some monsters. And the Mark I armor lacks long-range attack weapons. Facing many fleeing monsters, it is difficult to chase and hunt, and it is necessary to hunt in a circle, which is not efficient. And it's still not flexible enough. This is the biggest problem of the Mark I model. Although Tang Xiaofan has improved the transmission device, the heavy armor itself greatly limits its mobility. In the final analysis, the manufacturing conditions are limited. If there were higher strength alloys, even titanium alloys, at that time, then Tang Xiaofan would not have to give up flexibility for defense. Forget it, let's consider flexibility when making Mark II. Tang Xiaofan shook his head. It was meaningless to consider what materials to use for Mark I now, and he had no other choice at the time. Now it's better to think about it. Is there any way to limit the actions of monsters? Tang Xiaofan murmured. According to his experience summed up from playing LoL for many years, slowing down the enemy is equivalent to speeding up yourself. This is the must-read manual for the king. Sir, do you want to equip the Mark I with a high-power illumination lamp? Jarvis asked. Install a lamp? Tang Xiaofan imagined the scene and immediately shook his head. Jarvis, I don't want to walk around with a little sun on my head. It's okay to install a lamp, but it can only be installed with an ordinary lighting lamp. High power illumination lamps, don't even think about it. And that thing consumes a lot of power. It will definitely affect the endurance of the armor. Rejecting Jarvis' proposal, Tang Xiaofan had to continue thinking. Wait, I thought of something. Suddenly, Tang Xiaofan's eyes lit up. Something that he had ignored for a long time appeared in his mind. Sir, what is it? Spider silk launcher. It's a spider silk launcher. Tang Xiaofan shouted excitedly. He had been focusing on the Iron Man suit before, and actually forgot that Iron Man also has a spider son. Little spider. Jarvis, do you have any information about spider silk launchers in your database? Sir, there are 365 sets of information about spider silk launchers, and 184 sets of information about spider suits, including iron spider suit, nano spider suit. Sure enough. Hearing Jarvis' answer, Tang Xiaofan finally smiled. With spider silk launchers, the problem of armor flexibility has been solved. Of course, it is definitely not like Spider-Man swinging spider silk between high-rise buildings. After all, if a ton of armor really swings, spider silk can withstand it, but most of the trees in the forest will definitely not be able to withstand it and will fall down. Moreover, the kinetic energy of more than 20 armored vehicles may even cause harm to their own people. So Tang Xiaofan's idea is to use the spider silk launcher as a pure weapon. When facing a fast-moving enemy like a monster, you can directly trap it with a spider web to make up for the lack of speed of the armor. Jarvis, help me find the most suitable spider silk launcher. Use the ready-made information here, and then tell me. Okay, sir. Wait a moment. Not long after, Tang Xiaofan heard, Sir, I already have a solution. Okay, Jarvis, let me see the spider silk launcher you chose. Okay, sir. As soon as the voice fell, a holographic projection of a spider silk launcher appeared in front of Tang Xiaofan, and the materials needed to make it. Sir, based on your usage environment and surrounding materials, this launcher should be the most suitable choice. How many spider silk modes does it have? 2. Spider silk mode and spider web mode. Jarvis began to introduce. Spider silk mode can launch spider silk with a thickness of 5 to 10 mm, with a tensile strength that is 45 times that of high strength steel, a range of 300 meters, and a viscosity that can withstand 5 to 10 tons of weight. Spider web mode will launch a spider web composed of hundreds of 0.5 mm spider silks, with a diameter of 3 to 5 meters and a range of 10 to 20 meters. Each spider silk can withstand a tensile force of 0.5 tons. Chapter 18 Soulstones become trading items. After listening to Jarvis' introduction, Tang Xiaofan nodded with satisfaction. Well done, Jarvis. Where did the materials come from? Sir, it's the demonized spiders that the farmers found when they occupied the titanium mine. Since spider silk will become the main combat force in the future, I suggest you start raising this kind of spider. Raise demonized spiders. This idea sounds good. Sir, spiders are animals with extremely strong reproductive capacity, and you have a stable food source, so you can produce spiders continuously. Jarvis is indeed an artificial intelligence that transcends reality. Whether it is designing weapons or economic development, he has proposed completely feasible plans. Tang Xiaofan nodded with satisfaction. This is a good artificial intelligence. Sir, and there are still some spider eggs from the last hunt, which can be directly reproduced. The wood factory can completely build a spider breeding pen. The only trouble is that you need to wear steel armor every time you pick spider silk. These are all minor problems. These farmers are good at work. They all pursue blessings, do not want wages or insurance, and there is no union. This spider breeding plan is simply perfect. After the decision was made, Tang Xiaofan ordered Nanga Shizen to start his spider breeding industry, asking him to build a fence outside the castle alone, and to build a closed cage with wooden boards to ensure that the demonized spiders could not escape from the gaps in the cage. Then build a tall door, so that he can wear the mark armor to feed and pick. Of course, this fence currently has no function, but it was built by Tang Xiaofan according to his personal needs. He expected that the system fence building would be opened only after the castle was upgraded to level 3. Looking at the busy construction site, Tang Xiaofan did not continue to disturb these farmers, and he continued to study the manufacturing drawings of the spider silk launcher. Unexpectedly, both the materials and the process were much simpler than Tang Xiaofan expected. Compared with the complex mark armor, the manufacturing difficulty of this spider silk launcher is almost the same. However, when Tang Xiaofan saw the signature under the information, all doubts disappeared. Peter Parker, that's right, the spider silk launcher recommended by Jarvis is the first generation launcher made by Spider-Man himself. How complicated can a launcher made by a high school student who works to earn money be? At that time, Peter Parker probably didn't even understand the composition of spider silk. As long as it could carry Spider-Man around the world, it was enough. Tang Xiaofan felt that he also needed such a spider silk launcher. Simple and practical. He called Nang Yi and Nana to help him. Tang Xiaofan took them to the castle, which was the workshop, and began to make spider silk launchers. Nang Yi and Nana watched quietly on the side. Tang Xiaofan occasionally asked them to try it out, and he told them how to do it. Facts have also proved that Nang Yi and Nana's hands are born to make things. Once they entered the working state, Nang Yi and Nana's timid appearance disappeared, and their hands were stable, basically as stable as a smart lathe. The little hand holding the tweezers did not tremble at all. Each part can be placed precisely where it should be, with almost no error. With the strong assistance of the two, soon, the last part was also installed, and then covered with a metal shell. The prototype of the spider silk launcher was completed. The time taken was much shorter than Tang Xiaofan expected. Okay. The launcher is done. The next step is to make spider silk. Tang Xiaofan debugged it several times and confirmed that there was no problem with the launcher, so he started to make spider silk. Compared with the launcher, the manufacture of spider silk is much simpler. You only need to mix certain chemical minerals with the spider silk of the demonized spider in proportion to make spider silk. Spider silk under normal circumstances is a liquid. Once it comes into contact with the air, it will quickly solidify and form spider silk. So when making it, Tang Xiaofan has been adding neutralizers to it to prevent the spider silk from solidifying prematurely. The finished spider silk was put into several square capsules the size of mobile phone batteries. The spider capsule can be replaced, just like the magazine of the spider silk launcher. Tang Xiaofan put the spider capsule into the launcher, tested it, and installed it on the right arm of the Mark 1 armor. Okay. After doing all this, Tang Xiaofan instructed Nang Yi to put on the armor, and said to him, test it, and start mass production, if there is no problem. So Nang Yi raised his right arm, and aimed the spider silk launcher at the top of the blacksmith shop. Puff. With a slight sound, spider silk burst out from the launcher. It extended out like a white line and instantly connected to the outer wall surface at the top of the building. It feels very solid. Tang Xiaofan pulled the spider silk and felt it was more solid. So Tang Xiaofan took a few steps back and then ran forward. On the way, he pulled the spider silk. The strong elasticity of the spider silk instantly pulled up the 1-ton Mark 1 armor. Successfully swung. Damn. This blacksmith shop is too solid. Looking at Nang Yi swinging on the swing, Tang Xiaofan nodded. This weapon was considered a success. Soulstones finally appeared in the trading channel. One reason is that after the second day of recruitment and summoning, the number of soldiers of the castle lord has increased. With stronger strength and a larger hunting range, the probability of obtaining soulstones is naturally higher. Moreover, for many castle lords, even if they cannot kill powerful wild monsters, they can hunt small animals such as rabbits and chickens around the castle, or pick fresh fruits. All of these behaviors may obtain soulstones, but the probability is a little lower. Second, many powerful castle lords are imitating Tang Xiaofan, hunting monsters in exchange for basic resources such as wood and stone. Moreover, in the early stage, survival and development are the top priority. Soulstones can only upgrade the troop factory and cannot be eaten or upgraded. Therefore, in the trading channel, selling soulstones is already the norm, and compared with other soulstone buyers, Tang Xiaofan can indeed be called a profiteer. His exchange price is the lowest. Castle lords who are in urgent need of resources will only bite their teeth and exchange for Tang Xiaofan's resources when they have no choice. Just like what Bear Grylls said. In the circle of castle lords, Tang Xiaofan's reputation has been established, but his reputation is notorious. There are countless castle lords who are suppressing Tang Xiaofan's profiteer behavior, saying that he is driving up the price of food and exploiting the working people. For these, Tang Xiaofan didn't care. Some people need prestige, recognition, and support. He didn't need it. With the system, he could gain a foothold in this world freely. Bringing sisters, younger brothers, and apprentices would only disrupt the development of the Black Technology Castle. Chapter 19. Argument on the Trading Channel. At the same time, Tang Xiaofan's purchase of soulstones caused a big stir in the circle of castle lords. The world chat channel was very lively, and everyone was discussing Tang Xiaofan's purchase of soulstones. It's only the second day, and boss Tang Xiaofan is going to upgrade the troop factory? Oh my god. This is too strong. According to my investigation, only elite monsters can drop soulstones, and elite monsters don't have enough strength, so they are simply wiped out. Most of the castle lords have troops that are generally only level 1 or level 2, and very few can reach level 3, and it is basically impossible to hunt elite small bosses. But boss Tang Xiaofan did it. He is about to collect 100 soulstones. Oh my god, I have to say that, although boss Tang Xiaofan is a profiteer, he is very strong. I really want to hug his thighs. Dragon Country is so lucky this time. It can let boss Tang Xiaofan fight, and it is ahead of all other countries. Soulstones are too expensive. I really can't afford it. Too expensive. Now in the trading channel, the price of a soulstone has risen to the price of 30 food units. Tang Xiaofan is indeed worthy of the reputation of a profiteer. If he doesn't make a move, it's fine. But once he makes a move, he will sweep away all the soulstones sold by other castle lords. Other castle lords are also powerful, and naturally they will not let Tang Xiaofan control the market alone. They also made moves to snatch soulstones. Dragon Cave Castle is looking for soulstones, and providing 35 units of food, with no limit on the number. The Furious Clan Castle is looking for soulstones, and providing 35 units of food, with no limit on the number. The Bloodthirsty Demon Castle is looking for soulstones, and providing 35 units of food, with no limit on the number. Death Knight Castle. Damn. The big guys are watching in the front row. Are the soldiers in Dragon Cave Castle dragons? Are they the big lizards that fly in the sky and breathe fire? What the hell are the Furious Warriors? Are they barbarians? Bloodthirsty Demon Castle. Will this soldier be very powerful? They can't be vampires. Everyone is a big guy. The big guys are different when they act. They are all starting to buy soulstones. It seems that the big guys are going to upgrade the army factory. Big guy Tang Xiaofan swept up all the 30 soulstones on the market. There is hope for the army building to be upgraded. The kid upstairs, you know too much. At the same time, with the appearance of many big guys, the world chat channel has also become extremely hot. Many hidden big guys are attracted by the scarcity of soulstones and take the initiative to expose themselves. Some people really like it. Some people want to use this trend to declare their existence and expand their popularity. Once the business of acquiring soulstones is launched, the reputation in the castle circle can be immediately improved. This wave is not a loss. As for Tang Xiaofan, who was at the center of the discussion, he naturally made a lot of money. In this round alone, he harvested 30 soulstones. He paid for some food, and the rest were some resources such as wood. Together with the soulstones he had stored before, the total number reached 95. With 5 more soulstones, the farmer's factory can be upgraded. Dragon Cave Castle, Rage Clan, Bloodthirsty Demon, Death Knight Castle. Tang Xiaofan said to himself, these castle lords obviously have advanced, or even top level troops, and they may become his opponents in the future. I'm curious, boss Tang Xiaofan has collected all the soulstones so quickly. What kind of powerful troops are they? It shouldn't just be farmers. Farmers can't fight at all. Maybe there are other mutant troops. Envy. Is this the boss? He is so low-key and hidden. I hope boss Tang Xiaofan will come forward to satisfy the curiosity of the castle lords. After all, he has earned so many soulstones. What kind of troops are they? Agreed. Tang Xiaofan, who was browsing the channel, saw this and decisively blocked these people. What is his military type? What does it have to do with these people? Telling others your secrets may lead to others targeting you. There are many people coming in this time, and there are many people who are jealous of him. Since yesterday, some people have asked him to reveal his military type. He ignored them all. Those who stood from the perspective of the so-called human community and asked him to reveal his military type were all blocked by him. This is to express his disgust. The upgrade of the farmer factory should be in the next 2 days. After the upgrade, more advanced farmers can be produced. As for the upgrade of the castle, it is also within reach. After this period of reserve, The wood, stone, and iron ingots stored in the warehouse reached 9,300 units and 6,500 units respectively. To upgrade the castle to a level 3 castle, 10,000 units of wood, 7,000 units of stone, and 1,000 units of iron ingots are required. If nothing unexpected happens, Tang Xiaofan can upgrade the black technology castle to a level 3 castle today. Tang Xiaofan ignored the players from other countries, but others did not intend to let him go. In the live broadcast channel of Blue Star, the issue about Tang Xiaofan was once again a big fight. The players from Dragon Country are too awesome. They are simply arrogant. That's right, Bear Grylls from our ugly country is so approachable, but you actually refuse to cooperate with you. My Sakura country strongly demands that the players from Dragon Country reveal the secret of his military type. Why can he build mechas? Yes, we strongly demand that Dragon Country share all the resources it has obtained and the technology it has mastered. You guys upstairs are shameless. It's already this time, and you still want to bully Dragon Country? You don't even consider whether your neck is clean. What do you mean? I take a shower every day. I'm wearing a white shirt, and my neck is clean. You guys upstairs are stupid. What are you talking about with this bunch of idiots? They don't understand at all. Listen carefully, you idiots. I will not share any of my Dragon Country's resources, and I will not share any of my Dragon Country's technology with you. What? Dragon Country is bad. We must unite to attack Dragon Country. Yes, attack Dragon Country. The quarrels on the internet could not affect the players from various countries at all. They were in the continent of gods and demons at the moment, and could not receive any information from Blue Star. In addition to facing monsters, they will also need to face challenges from billions of castles on the continent of gods and demons in the future. At this moment, they are still in a safe period, a happy safe period. Tang Xiaofan is looking at the map drawn by the farmers when they patrolled the resource points last time, and points to the marked locations on the map: Jarvis, some abandoned factories, supermarkets, and several buildings. I want to see these places with my own eyes when the Mark II mecha is completed. Sir, I suggest you wait until at least 50 people have completed the Mark II mecha before starting the expedition plan, because according to the current risk assessment, the wild is not safe. Chapter 20, the Mark II mecha is unveiled. Tang Xiaofan never doubted Jarvis's judgment, so he followed suit and temporarily stopped his plan to go out, preparing to continue to be a quiet and strange man. At this time, Nang Yi and Nanga came over and said that a set of new mecha accessories had been made, and the other accessories were still being made. Ready? Hearing Nang Yi's words, Tang Xiaofan happily walked into the workshop of the castle. He placed the hand-drawn drawings in front of Nang Yi and Nanga, ready to start formally assembling the Mark II. On the drawings, it was a real iron armor. Except for the lack of the arc reactor on the chest, the shape was almost the same as Iron Man's Mark II. This is what the iron armor looks like. Jarvis, look, this transmission method is so powerful. Tang Xiaofan was involuntarily attracted by the appearance of the Mark II at first, but soon immersed in the complex black technology of the Mark II. Wait a minute, Jarvis, why doesn't the armor have an operating system? Suddenly, Tang Xiaofan noticed something very strange. That is, there is no mention of the operating system in the drawings, but every function of the armor is related to the operating system. Sir, the operating system of Mark II is my clone. Jarvis answered this question in Tang Xiaofan's mind. Because of the need for mass production, each armor will have the support of Jarvis' system. Although they cannot be connected to the internet, when these mechas return to the castle, they can exchange data. Sir, as long as 2 or more mechas are no more than 10 kilometers apart, they can still communicate and exchange data. In this way, even if other players learn how to make Mark armor, they can't play it. Of course, it's not that it can't be made, it's that it can't be moved after it's made. Every technology of Mark armor needs to be associated with Jarvis. Without Jarvis operating system, even if the armor is made, it will be an immovable iron shell. In this case, we just need to make the armor first. Tang Xiaofan said happily. In this way, he can ensure that he is ahead in technology in the god and demon continent. Okay. Nang Yi and Nanga certainly didn't think much about it. They were immersed in the shock brought to them by Mark II. You guys just watch it first. While they were looking at the drawings, Tang Xiaofan began to check the accessories of Mark II. The craftsmanship of these farmers is really amazing. Just like a mechanical arm, they perfectly create many subtle parts of the Mark II armor. Have you finished reading the drawings? Yes. Hearing this, Tang Xiaofan took the two of them to the workbench. As usual, let's build the transmission device first. You watch carefully. You have to learn the assembly later and teach other brothers. Yes, Lord. Nang Yi and Nang Er agreed in unison. The three of them began to officially build the Mark II on the machine tool. For the next half day, Tang Xiaofan stayed in the basement with Nang Yi and Nang Er. Fortunately, Nang Yi and Nang Er were very skilled and quickly mastered the assembly skills, making Tang Xiaofan more and more relaxed. However, looking at the protective cover above his head, it will disappear in a few days. Time is running out. Tang Xiaofan looked at the Mark II armor that had been built for the most part and sighed. After that, he picked up the welding gun and continued to work. Finally, before the sun went down, Tang Xiaofan completed the remaining parts of the Mark II. Sir, I have to congratulate you. You have completed the production of the Mark II armor. Jarvis suddenly reminded. Haha, don't worry, I have been waiting for a long time. Tang Xiaofan completely ignored Jarvis's reminder. Now all his attention is on the silver armor in front of him. Mark II. Starting from it, it is the real iron armor. At the same time, it is also the war machine of the future. It's a pity that I don't have a Gatling gun now, otherwise I will transform you into a war machine now. Tang Xiaofan stroked the Mark II and said affectionately. Compared with the iron armor, that is good at fighting alone, the war machine is obviously more suitable for use in the doomsday. But now, this Mark II still lacks the most critical arc reactor. Now its power source is 8 detachable high-energy stone batteries installed on the back. 8 batteries. Plus the weight of the Mark II is less than 300 kilograms. Yes, it has been reduced directly from 1 ton to 0.3 tons, and the weight saved is huge. The advantage of this is that the combat endurance time is directly increased to 48 hours! Exclamation mark. Although it is still not as good as the reactor, it has fully met most of the current combat needs. From now on, Tang Xiaofan no longer has to worry about the endurance of the armor. In terms of weapons, of course, there is no change now, except for the prepared double-edged giant axe and spider silk launcher. Other aspects are far from the real Mark II. There is no painting for the time being, because there are no resources at hand. However, there is an arc pulse cannon reserved in the palm. It is also a flight stabilization device during flight. Even the jet device on the foot is reserved. Of course, all of this is prepared in advance for the reactor. As long as the macro reactor is successfully developed, it can be directly installed on the chest of the armor and successfully activate these devices. And the battery is detachable. As long as the reactor is built, Tang Xiaofan can install it on the Mark II as soon as possible. Everything is ready. Ready to start testing. Sir, for your health, please take a rest. At this time, Jarvis reminded. Okay, I got it. Let me do the test myself this time. Jarvis, scan my physical condition. Tang Xiaofan thought about it and decided to let Jarvis check it. Soon, Jarvis reported the scan results. Sir, the test results show that your body is very healthy and all indicators have reached perfect values. Compared with before. Compared with the last scan, all your indicators have improved and the increase is about 5%. Good news. Is there anything abnormal? No abnormal performance. Hearing Jarvis's answer, Tang Xiaofan was relieved. Although he didn't know what changes would happen to his body after the upgrade, the result was always good. There was no abnormal performance, but his physical fitness was greatly improved. Come on, we have to hurry up. Nang Yi and Nang Er were testing the various functions of the Mark II armor. What stage has the test reached? My lord. Hearing Tang Xiaofan's voice, Nang Yi and Nang Er quickly put down the instruments in their hands, looked up and said, the main functions have been tested, and the weapon system is being tested. Don't test it. Tang Xiaofan waved his hand and said, sometimes you have to learn to run before you learn to walk. Let's go straight to the actual combat stage. Chapter 21 Combat Test of the Mark II Mecha. After Tang Xiaofan finished speaking, he asked Nang Yi and Nana to put on the Mark II armor for him. Unlike the simple and crude Mark I, the Mark II with complex parts cannot be worn by one person. Tang Xiaofan does not have mechanical arm now, so he has to ask Nang Yi and Nana to help him put on the armor. Soon, as the last part was installed by Nang Yi and Nana, the internal knob was automatically tightened. The Mark II was put on. Jarvis also connected with the Mark II at the first time. Very good, no delay. Tang Xiaofan moved his joints and tried to run a lap in the castle again. Not only is there no delay, it is even faster than his own speed. Tang Xiaofan clenched his fist. Since this set of armor has used nerve conduction, Tang Xiaofan can even feel the terrifying power of the armor when it clenched his fist. This is called exoskeleton armor. Tang Xiaofan smiled with satisfaction, then picked up the helmet next to him and put it on. As soon as the helmet was put on, there was a period of darkness, and then a series of virtual images appeared in front of Tang Xiaofan. This is the armor's HUD virtual display. Then, in Tang Xiaofan's eyes, the dark mask became transparent, and he could see the castle again. Moreover, once Tang Xiaofan focused his attention on a certain thing, a holographic projection showing specific information would appear above the thing. Mark II self-checking. Self-check completed. Sir, everything is working properly. At the same time, Jarvis' voice also sounded from the Mark II. Jarvis, why do I feel like your voice has become better? Tang Xiaofan, who was in a good mood, even made a little joke with Jarvis. Thank you for the compliment, sir. You can now let Nang Yi go to the open area for actual combat testing. That's what I meant. Tang Xiaofan finished speaking, flicked open the visor, and said to Nang Yi and Nana beside him, now, the mecha operation test is normal. Next, Nang Yi, you wear the mecha for actual combat testing. If you encounter an emergency, contact me immediately. You should know that this Mark II mecha can communicate remotely. Do you understand? Yes. Hearing Tang Xiaofan's instructions, Nang Yi nodded heavily and began to equip the Mark II with excitement. Although there was no manipulator to help, Tang Xiaofan and Nana still put it on with help. Holding the double-edged giant axe and spider silk launcher, Nang Yi walked out of the castle. My lord, everything is normal, the vision is very clear, and the movements are very sensitive. My lord, I move very quickly. My lord, this set of armor is much stronger than the previous one. I think I can deal with the wolf pack. As Nang Yi reported the situation from time to time, he had walked away. At this time, the Blue Star viewers who were following Tang Xiaofan's live broadcast room also discovered this new armor. Wow. New armor. Tang Xiaofan is so amazing. He has come up with a new armor. What kind of armor is this? It looks silver. Wow. Is it going to hunt? Which live broadcast room has a signal? Nang Yi drove the Mark II, moving forward in a big circle with the Black Technology Castle as the center. He was not interested in taking care of the various small animals on the road. This guy, where is he going in this direction? I don't know. Isn't it just a random direction? Wait. He is going in this direction. Isn't he going to that cave? Fuck. Don't tell me it's true. Just as the netizens in the live broadcast room said. At this time, Nang Yi was heading towards the cave before. The netizens in the live broadcast room who noticed this naturally kept persuading Tang Xiaofan through barrages to stop Nang Yi. Brother, calm down. There must be some monsters in that cave that are not easy to mess with. Yeah. Last time I saw a two-legged flying dragon fly in and never come out. What can you use to fight it? Just the broken axe in your hand? You are going to deliver food. As the netizens in the live broadcast room said, at this time, Nang Yi had no other weapons except a double-edged axe and a spider silk launcher. However, in fact, Nang Yi's double-edged axe is not an ordinary product. Rather than a long double-edged axe, it is better to say that Nang Yi's is actually a double-sided mountain-splitting axe. Double-sided mountain-splitting axe. It is indeed a world-famous cold weapon native to Languo. Not only is the shape chic and handsome, but the lethality is also equally good. However, no matter how powerful the double-sided mountain-splitting axe in Nang Yi's hand is, the netizens in the live broadcast room don't know. As modern people, they naturally instinctively think that cold weapons are not as good as hot weapons. After all, the gun is fast at 7 steps away, and within 7 steps, the gun is accurate and fast. Regardless of how Nang Yi insisted on going to the cave. At this time, the appearance of Nang Yi wearing the Mark II made the audiences of other countries in the entire God and Demon continent completely boil. People from other countries can be said to covet and fear the players from Dragon Country. After all, everyone knows that the Dragon Country player Tang Xiaofan keeps launching new armors, which puts too much pressure on the players from other countries. Because Tang Xiaofan's movements are too fast, players from other countries are still complacent because of what kind of arms they have, but Tang Xiaofan from Dragon Country has already armed a team of farmers and occupied all the resources around the castle. Now, just the second day, a new armor has been developed. It seems that the new armor is being tested, but the appearance of this new armor looks extremely awesome. Isn't Lango going to die this time? The Lango player must have failed to show off this time, and will lose a farmer. Damn, they just lost a farmer. It doesn't seem to matter. That's right, this game is too unbalanced. The Lango player is taking advantage. Ugly Country and Sakura Country, do you have any shame? Your player's troops are not ashamed to say that others are taking advantage. Without exception, the matter about Lango was once again a mess. However, neither Tang Xiaofan nor Nang Yi would pay attention to the discussions of outsiders. Not long after, Nang Yi arrived at the cave that everyone was talking about. There is nothing to say about the environment of the cave. As a hidden place in the forest, it is easy to be overlooked. In fact, there is such a place near every castle, and there lives a powerful small boss. The level is about 10. After organizing the team of troops, the early players may challenge this small boss before the end of the 7-day protection period. It is also normal that it was not discovered by the previous farmers hunting. The audience discovered it because in addition to the live shots from the player's perspective, there were also many live shots of empty spaces, which the audience could switch between at will. Coincidentally, someone discovered this cave and has been observing it. Although no one has seen what kind of monster this little boss is, many powerful monsters have never come out after entering the cave. It is like a black hole in the forest, swallowing up other powerful monsters. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22 Encounter with the Ancient Giant Sloth. When Nang Yi stepped near the cave, he felt a chill and bloody smell. He suddenly stopped and reported, "My lord, we found a suspected powerful monster and applied for a battle test. Okay, we are allowed to fight." However, all the audience knew this crisis hidden under the calm. However, Nang Yi seemed to not care at all. He walked straight towards the cave. He still looked like he was strolling in the garden. However, unlike Nang Yi's leisurely appearance, wherever Nang Yi passed by, it can be said that there was a mess. Scattered bones were scattered all over the ground. Along with it, there was a large area of blood. It is obvious that these traces are naturally the result of the previous small boss eating. However, in addition to this, every distance, you can see the creepy blood stains on the ground. These are naturally the monsters that entered the cave and died. Seeing such a tragic scene, the netizens in the live broadcast room naturally felt scalp tingling. I still came in. I'm numb. Fuck. Is this hell? This is too scary. However, this guy can still remain calm after seeing such a terrifying scene. Is he really sure? Come on. In my opinion, he must be bluffing. Tang Xiaofan will not respond to the comments of netizens in the live broadcast room. Sir, Nang Yi's opponent should be a relatively powerful monster. Oh, is there a problem? System evaluation. No problem. Jarvis gave a danger warning, but because the danger level was too low, it did not affect Tang Xiaofan at all. He was staring at his dinner and fighting. He didn't care about the challenges Nang Yi encountered at all. The Mark II armor, except for the weakness of not having a macro reactor, can basically kill any current carbon-based monster in seconds. At this time, in the cave, Nang Yi's nose moved when he smelled a bloody smell in the air. For others, this bloody smell in the air must be unbearable. But for Nang Yi, this is more attractive than any delicacies in the world. The fighting instinct tells him, it's time to hunt! Exclamation mark. Rustle. Suddenly. Exclamation mark. A sound came from a cave not far in front of Nang Yi. Then the sound disappeared. This sound immediately caused all netizens to be nervous. Sure enough, the next moment, a figure that shocked everyone appeared in the picture. It turned out to be an ancient giant ground sloth. Compared with the sloths on the blue planet, the giant ground sloth at this time is simply impossible to have any kinship. It has large forelimbs, short hind limbs, sharp claws on all four legs, and a tail that is almost 1 meter long. Then, what appeared in front of everyone was the rusty ancient giant ground sloth. However, the rust here naturally refers to blood. That's right. At this time, the ancient giant ground sloth was covered with various bloodstains. However, everyone can see that none of the bloodstains on the body of the ancient sloth belong to it. These are obviously the bloodstains of the monsters that were attracted into the cave by it before. And everyone also found that after so many battles. But the body of the ancient sloth still has no signs of injury. Even a monster like a wyvern can't cause any harm to it. How terrifying is its defense! Exclamation mark. Hiss. However, the ancient sloth naturally doesn't know the comments of netizens in the live broadcast room. The scholar eyes looked at the uninvited guest in front of him. The ancient sloth let out a low roar. At this time, everyone noticed again. The ancient sloth in front of them seemed to have just had a full meal. With its slightly opened huge crocodile mouth, everyone could clearly see the minced meat hanging on its serrated teeth. Exclamation mark. And seeing these minced meat, everyone knows that these are all monsters. Exclamation mark. Some sharp-eyed people even saw a wing in the mouth. Seeing this scene, the netizens in the live broadcast room were naturally frightened. Oh my god. This is too scary. There are still pieces of meat from the monsters hanging on its mouth. This is a real man-eating thing. Fuck. Run. It's still in time. It's too late. Normal people can't run faster than him. But if it's far away, it's okay. But now it's only a few steps away. I feel like this wave is really going to be over. Come on. I believe this tin bucket monster will also take a few minutes to gnaw. However, the live broadcast room's barrage still did not receive any response from Tang Xiaofan. He was also observing the monster that appeared through Jarvis's vision sharing. At this time, Nang Yi still had an expressionless look on his face, looking at the man-eating beast in front of him lightly. Fierce beasts kill people. Fierce beasts eat people. Exclamation mark. If it were other ordinary people, it would be okay, but now that he encountered Nang Yi, with his current mecha, who is the food, no one in the audience knew this, only Nang Yi himself knew it. Netizens from all over the world also rushed to the scene after hearing the news. After all, Dragon Country is now the second largest country in the world besides Ugly Country on the blue planet. Regarding the outstanding performance of Dragon Country players in the past 2 days, netizens around the world are just like chicken blood, looking for faults, and seeing the ancient giant sloth so ferocious. Naturally, everyone is gloating. Ha ha ha. This idiot is really here. A level 10 creature. Dragon Country players really dare to challenge? Dragon Country players don't seem to be very smart. Wait for Dragon Country GG. Ha ha ha. How many resources did this mecha spend, and are you going to waste it like this? Dragon Country players originally looked very powerful, but I didn't expect them to be so reckless. They are really not the opponent of my Ugly Country Bear Grylls. That's right, they are not even the opponent of my Sakura Country. Alas, let's wait and watch Dragon Country players suffer. Haha. In fact, it is not just these ordinary people who are watching the live broadcast. The top leaders of various countries around the world are also secretly paying attention to the progress of Nang Yi at this time. After all, there is only one player, Tang Xiaofan from Dragon Country, who is far ahead of other countries. Although there is no conflict between them yet, according to the progress of the game, conflict is a matter of time. And here we have to mention the Sakura Country, which has been at odds with Dragon Country for many years. They have already begun to study Tang Xiaofan in depth. Chapter 23 Netizens from other countries gloating over others' misfortune. In fact, in the original plan of Sakura Country, it was intended to let the players of their country snipe the players of Dragon Country in the God and Demon continent. After all, the hatred between the two countries has accumulated for a long time. However, the funny thing is that before the high-level officials of Sakura Country issued this order, they saw the scene of Long Country Nangli encountering the ancient giant sloth. At this time, in the high-level meeting hall of Sakura Country, the leader, a slightly fat Mediterranean, said sarcastically, "Oh, it's really stupid. It seems that our players don't need to do it." The ministers under the slightly fat Mediterranean also look sarcastic. "Your Excellency is right. The players of Dragon Country are really stupid. Facing the ancient giant sloth, he must be dead. Humph, it saves us from intervening again." In fact, the idea of the high-level officials of Sakura Country is very simple. After seeing the rules of the previous God and Demon continent, everyone knew that if the players died in the God's domain, then the country they represented could basically be directly declared extinct. Because if a country has no resources, then no matter how powerful its technology or strength is, there is only a thin line between extinction and destruction. Seeing that the players of Dragon Country are in a desperate situation, the senior officials of Sakura Country are naturally very happy. However, in addition to Sakura Country, there is actually another country that has the same plan as them. That's right, it is Ugly Country. For Ugly Country, the development momentum of Dragon Country in recent years is really too terrifying. Ugly Country knows that if it continues to let Dragon Country develop like this, then its position as the world's largest country will definitely be lost. And like Sakura Country, the senior officials of Ugly Country also intend to instruct their players to snipe the players of Dragon Country in the God and Demon continent. However, judging from the current situation, it seems that they don't need to take action. However, Dragon Country naturally has no way of knowing the plans of Sakura Country and Ugly Country. After seeing their players encounter the ancient giant sloth, the senior officials of Dragon Country are naturally very anxious. And those expert teams organized by Dragon Country, at this time, they were naturally working at full capacity, thinking about how to help Nangli escape from the ancient giant sloth. However, these senior executives seemed to have made a mistake, because it was not Tang Xiaofan who was now wearing the Mark II and confronting the ancient giant sloth. It was a farmer summoned by Tang Xiaofan. Unfortunately, Tang Xiaofan and other players could not see the barrage, and the senior executives of various countries would not have any intersection with the board people, who were always staring at the live broadcast, so they naturally continued this misunderstanding. Therefore, Tang Xiaofan naturally could not see the suggestions of these experts. Even if he saw them, it didn't matter. Did he still need experts? A Jarvis could kill all the experts on Blue Star in seconds. Back to the God and Demon continent. At this time, the ancient giant sloth naturally looked at the tin can in front of him with greed. For the ancient giant sloth, today is really a very lucky day. Although I don't know what's going on, this guy who came to his territory to die smells good, and it seems that he can have a good meal. Thinking of this, the ancient giant sloth let out a roar. Hiss. However, the threatening roar of the ancient giant sloth, in Nangli's view, was the sound of delicious ingredients being cooked. Although Nangli would not think so, his instinct from fighting still told him, this guy in front of him, delicious! Exclamation mark. And seeing Nangli seemed to be frightened and frozen in place, several guests of the Today's God and Demon Continent program group were also anxious. Because of the popularity of the God and Demon continent, the program was broadcast ahead of schedule. Looking at Nangli's situation, Yuki said to the bureau chief with a bitter face, "Bureau chief, in this case, what should we do to be the best choice?" However, before the bureau chief could speak, Zhang Xiaoxio on the side interrupted and said, "Do you still need to see it? If you ask me, we should prepare early, so as not to be helpless when resources are deprived. In addition, those who should sacrifice their cars to save their masters, should still sacrifice their cars to save their masters. The most important thing is to save some elites of my Dragon Country, so that they can come back in the future. For example, high quality human males like me, and fuck." Zhang Xiaoxio's words killed everyone again. Now, even Yuki is wondering how this idiot got into the show. However, no matter how outsiders comment, it is irrelevant to Tang Xiaofan of the god and demon continent. Following the roar of the ancient giant ground sloth, Tang Xiaofan directly gave a remote command. Get it. Nang Yi immediately started to move forward. Kala. He changed the giant axe to hold it tightly with both hands and ran towards the ancient giant ground sloth. But the ancient giant ground sloth in front of him, even if it has a defense that even bullets and explosives cannot penetrate. But what about facing Nang Yi's giant axe? Seeing Nang Yi rushing over so eagerly, even though he couldn't see the other party's expression, even the ancient giant ground sloth with a low IQ could feel a hint of coolness. At this moment, the tyrannical aura that erupted from Nang Yi's body immediately stunned the ancient giant ground sloth. But at the same time, it seemed to be angry and roared. It's obviously a weak reptile. How can it burst out with such a powerful momentum? How is this possible? Exclamation mark. With this idea in mind, the ancient sloth began to approach Nang Yi. At this time, the ancient sloth was actually like the other monsters it had swallowed and had lost its basic judgment because of greed. Facing this delicious meal in front of it, the ancient sloth naturally did not want to miss it. Under the nervous gaze of everyone, the ancient sloth was still approaching Nang Yi step by step. 10 meters! Exclamation mark. 8 meters! Exclamation mark. 5 meters! Exclamation mark. Soon, the ancient sloth had already arrived in front of Nang Yi, who was closest to it. Exclamation mark. Without hesitation, the ancient sloth opened its bloody mouth and was about to swallow Nang Yi in one bite. Seeing this scene, all the people in the Dragon Kingdom were extremely upset, and an inexplicable sadness spread. How long has it been? My Dragon Kingdom is going to perish? Swish. However, at this moment, a figure suddenly flashed in front of everyone. Exclamation mark. Shooting towards the ancient sloth. Exclamation mark. Under the nervous gaze of everyone, a silvery figure flashed by. Exclamation mark. It shot towards the ancient giant sloth. Yes, it was Nang Yi's figure. Chapter 24. The Mark's second armor shows its power and wins with one move. Facing the approaching figure of Nang Yi, the ancient sloth roared again. Hiss. Roar. However, facing the threat of the ancient sloth, Nang Yi still did not stop. Crack. Swish. Nang Yi's figure suddenly stopped in front of the ancient sloth. Then the double-edged axe in his hand was swung out instantly. The tail of the axe handle hit the jaw of the ancient sloth. The huge force at this moment completely exceeded the ancient sloth's cognitive system of power. With Nang Yi's fierce attack, the ancient sloth's bloody mouth was completely crushed. Ah! There was a wail from the ancient sloth. However, Nang Yi's attack still did not stop. With the swing of the double-edged axe, dazzling cold light flashed in front of everyone's eyes. Crack. Swish. 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 As Nang Yi danced with the double-edged axe in his hand, this killing weapon was like a work of art. In Nang Yi's hands, it was magnificent. However, it was like a rose with thorns. It was extremely beautiful, but also extremely dangerous. Exclamation mark. The cold light gradually enlarged in the eyes of the ancient giant ground sloth. At this moment, the ancient giant ground sloth finally felt a threat from death. Exclamation mark. The body that had just stabilized wanted to attack Nang Yi. Exclamation mark. But, Nang Yi certainly would not give it this opportunity. Swish. Puff. Without the slightest hesitation, the double-edged axe in Nang Yi's hand immediately completely penetrated the head of the ancient giant ground sloth. Exclamation mark. That's right. Exclamation mark. The hard skin that even bullets could not penetrate was like a piece of thin paper in front of the double-edged axe in Nang Yi's hand. It was pierced in an instant. Exclamation mark. Hiss. A shrill scream suddenly rushed straight into the sky. The severe pain immediately made the ancient giant ground sloth struggle wildly. Exclamation mark. Ha ha ha. How huge is the body of the ancient giant ground sloth? Its struggle immediately raised a cloud of dust around it. The surrounding strong wind also blew up the dust and gravel in the cave. However, Nang Yi remained unmoved. It was as if there was infinite power in his body. Even with such a huge difference in size, it still couldn't shake Nang Yi at all. Exclamation mark. Squeak. I saw the double-edged axe in Nanyi's hand once again penetrated into the head of the ancient giant ground sloth. It completely penetrated it. Nailed it to the ground. Exclamation mark. The blood of the ancient giant ground sloth gradually infected a large area of land around it. And until then, the struggle of the ancient giant ground sloth finally gradually weakened. Completely ended its sinful life. Swish. Seeing that the ancient giant ground sloth was completely dead, Nanyi pulled out the double-edged axe again. With a flick of the blade, a pile of blood was left along the trajectory of the double-edged axe. The double-edged axe, which was originally stained with blood, became clean again. The mirror of the axe blade reflected Nanyi's calm armor mask. Ding. Kill the elite giant ground sloth. Energy value plus 80. Soulstone plus 20. 20 soulstones. Tang Xiaofan sighed. Finally he could upgrade the farmer's factory. Jarvis, analyze the battle data and summarize the problems with the armor. Sir. Yes, sir. Sir. The battle process was not difficult at all. It was a completely crushing attack. The armor itself has very little pressure, and it can be foreseen that it can achieve a quick kill when facing the same type of monster. The double-edged axe performed well. After the blessing of titanium alloy, the sharpness of the double-edged axe combined with the powerful power of the Mark's second armor formed a lethal attack against monsters. In terms of defense, the Mark's second is extremely outstanding. It is not damaged at all in the face of the monster's attack, and the pressure is evenly dispersed, without causing any harm to the driver. After listening to the analysis, Tang Xiaofan was quite satisfied. Mark II armor is not comparable to Mark I. If a macro reactor is added, it will be a black technology armor, absolutely crushing all the armed technologies on Blue Star. Now it is a small test to kill a monster, and the test result is not surprising at all. Then Tang Xiaofan said to Nanyi through remote communication, Nanyi, bring the monster back, the test is over, it is successful. Yes, Lord. Then, with everyone's face confused, Nanyi picked up the body of the ancient giant ground sloth on the ground with one hand, and carried a giant double-edged axe in the other hand, and returned to the castle. All this actually happened in an instant. From Nanyi's move to the ancient giant ground sloth's execution, the whole process did not even exceed 10 seconds. The originally ferocious ancient giant ground sloth has now completely turned into a corpse. The style of painting changed so quickly that everyone's brain did not react until this time. The barrage in the live broadcast room turned into a waterfall, and countless people were venting their shock. What happened just now? I don't know. I only saw the tin can kill the monster in seconds. I'm numb. What's going on? Didn't they say that even bullets can't hurt it? How come it was killed in seconds with just one knife? Could it be because of the double-edged axe in his hand? What kind of double-edged axe can be so powerful? More powerful than bullets? No, not only bullets. This is a defense that even grenades can't blow up. How can there be a cold weapon more powerful than a grenade? I don't know. But, to have such a powerful double-edged axe, where did Tang Xiaofan get it from? He must have discovered some treasure. The Dragon Country players are so lucky. It's so unfair. Why do the Dragon Country players have such good luck? Yeah, it's so unfair. The ancient giant bears of my ugly country can't kill this ancient giant sloth so easily. Unlike the leisurely Nanyi. At this time, people all over the world who had been paying attention to the Dragon Country live broadcast room were completely dumbfounded. The person who was originally thought to be powerless to fight back, but in an instant, he solved the ancient giant ground sloth. How could this not shock the world? And these netizens from all over the world also attributed Nanyi's strength to the double-edged axe in his hand. After all, no matter what, they were unwilling to believe it. How could an ordinary looking tin can have such a powerful power? But no matter how they guessed, no one would tell them the answer. In the God and Demon continent, after solving the ancient giant ground sloth, in the territory of the Dragon Kingdom of Blue Star, countless forests began to appear on the barren ground. Since the ancient giant ground sloth is the lord of the forest, now that Tang Xiaofan kills it, he automatically becomes the lord of forest resources, and the resources of wood obtained doubled. And the forest resources will be manifested 100 times to the territory of the Dragon Kingdom! Exclamation mark. Chapter 25 Upgrading the Farmer Factory to start a career path. With the continuous materialization of forest resources in Dragon Country, the program group of today's Gods and Demons continent has been discussing it heatedly. Master Zheng saw the double-edged axe in Nang Yi's hand and said with interest, "The double-edged axe is a cold weapon that our country is most proud of, and the double-edged axe in the hands of this contestant Nang Yi is considered the best of the best even in our army, and he is very skilled in using the double-edged axe. I'm afraid he is an expert." Yuki, who was standing aside, heard Master Zheng's words and joked, "Oh, so Master Zheng is also a master who uses a double-edged axe? Haha, I'm not a master, I know a thing or two." Hearing the conversation between the two, the chief also interrupted and said, "The double-edged axe in Nang Yi's hand is probably not as simple as you said. It can break through the defense that even grenades can't break through. It's completely reasonable to say that it is a divine product." Yuki and Master Zheng nodded repeatedly at the chief's words. At this time, Zhang Xiaoxiao seemed to want to show off his presence that he had nowhere to put. He was ready to speak. After all, it's just a cold weapon. If it really encounters a hot weapon, it's useless no matter how sharp it is. Well, but I also admit that this knife is really powerful. It's a bit of a waste to give it to such a farmer. Fuck your sister. Zhang Xiaoxiao's words immediately caused bombardment from various netizens. What the hell do you mean? Do you look down on farmers? I really want our farmer brother downstairs to help me ask what kind of garbage you are. I didn't expect that we farmers would be looked down upon by sissy one day. Please don't insult the word sissy, thank you." In fact, it was just as Zhang Xiaoxiao said. Netizens from all over the world still felt that being able to solve the ancient giant sloth was entirely the credit of the double-edged axe in Nang Yi's hand. And they didn't think Nang Yi himself was so powerful. After all, in the eyes of everyone, Nang Yi, a tin can, didn't look very powerful, no matter how you looked at it. However, Nang Yi naturally didn't know about the comments from the outside world. Even if he knew, I'm afraid he would just laugh it off. The news about Nang Yi killing the ancient giant sloth in 1 second is still fermenting. At this time, the senior officials of Sakura Country and Ugly Country who have been paying attention to the Dragon Country live broadcast room are also completely dumbfounded. According to the original script, isn't it that this ancient giant sloth will tear him apart completely? Then the Dragon Country will perish. Divide it among themselves. Exclamation mark. Why don't you act according to the script? Question mark. Do you respect us like this? How is this possible? That skin that even grenades can't penetrate. What kind of weapon is this? Why isn't such a powerful weapon in the hands of our Sakura Country players? We have to find a way to snatch this weapon away. However, no matter how unbelievable both sides are, the facts in front of them make them unable to refute. The slightly fat Mediterranean said to his subordinates with a gloomy face, "Quick, start the plan. Scroll the screen and try to pass our instructions to our players." My lord, what do you mean? What else can it mean? Sniper the Dragon Country players with all our strength. I want Dragon Country to be completely destroyed. Yes. Like Sakura Country, the top leaders of Ugly Country naturally started to scroll the screen at the first time, and also hoped that their players could start sniping the Dragon Country players. However, just as the two countries were secretly carrying out actions against Dragon Country, Tang Xiaofan started a new upgrade work. He came to the vicinity of the farmer factory. After a day of hunting, the farmer team killed more than 200 wild monsters and harvested 60 soulstones. Received 35 soulstones through the trading channel. Now, Nang Yi killed the ancient giant sloth and harvested another 20 soulstones. Now, he has a total of 115 soulstones. The upgrade requirements of the farmer factory are met. Do you want to upgrade the military building farmer factory? Yes, no upgrade. Tang Xiaofan naturally chose yes. After 2 days of hard work, isn't it for this moment? Soon, the farmer's factory was enveloped by a dazzling golden light. Even Tang Xiaofan couldn't see what was inside the golden light. He could only wait for the golden light to dissipate. About 10 seconds later, the golden light finally dissipated. Farmer's factory, unique arms building. Current level, level 2, can summon ordinary professional farmers, blacksmiths, carpenters, chefs, builders, and soldiers. Upgrade required. 500 soulstones. PS. Level 2 farmer's factory has a low probability of producing professional mutations, and each summon has a low probability of giving birth to a rare professional farmer. The upgraded farmer's factory has not changed much. The iron shed is still an iron shed, but the walls are much stronger. The energy fluctuations are stronger. This is a level 2 farmer's factory. It doesn't matter whether there are changes or not. The important thing is to summon professional farmers. You can summon professional warriors, so the experience problem of combatants can be solved. And there will be rare professional farmers born randomly. With the division of labor, my castle will expand faster. In addition, with the existence of builders, the city wall I conceived before can finally be activated. The efficiency will be greatly improved. For Tang Xiaofan, this is another good news. Obviously, the faster the military buildings are upgraded, the better. The earlier the upgrade, the easier it is to get ahead. The gap between me and other castle lords can also be widened. Want to dominate the god and demon continent? Successfully dominating among all the castle lords of Blue Star is the first step. Then using the power of Blue Star to suppress and enslave the existing forces in the god and demon continent is the second step. If other castle lords who are on the same starting line cannot be surpassed, how can they dominate the 10,000 races? Tang Xiaofan looked at the farmer factory. He immediately gave an order to summon 10 builders. Summon 10 builders. After each professional farmer spent 20 food units, 10 farmers wearing construction clothes, hard hats, and holding various construction tools stood neatly in front of Tang Xiaofan. Greetings, Lord. Looking at their professional attire, Tang Xiaofan felt that it was worth the money. Okay, from now on you will build from 1 to 10. It's still early today, let's build the city wall first. After saying that, Tang Xiaofan waved his hand and brought a group of builders to the stone workshop, which was full of sections of city walls. Build a city wall that doesn't need to be too big, just follow the radius. Jarvis, how big should our city wall be? Sir, it is recommended that the area of the inner city should not exceed 2 acres, which is convenient for defense in the early stage. In the later stage, when resources are abundant, the outer city can be built, and the scale can be expanded at that time. Okay, build a city wall of 2 acres in radius. Note that this is not for decoration. It must be able to ensure support for combat. Yes, Lord. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.